Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ariel Helwani Show!
The Ariel Helwani Show is back in your life on this Tuesday, December 17, 2024. Hello again, everyone. And yes, still very festive around these parts. It's a great time to be alive. It's a great time to be talking about combat sports. And we love Tuesdays around here, my friends. Why? Because we play two on Tuesdays. First, the Ariel Helwani Show right here, usual spot. And then, of course, 5 p.m. Eastern, we'll actually travel to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And I'll be joined by my guy, Ade Oladipo, for another edition of the Ariel and Ade Show. Of course, the big one this weekend in the world of combat sports, Usyk Fury 2. And we'll be talking about that a lot on this program tomorrow, all week long. You know how we do. Now, great show lined up for everyone. 3 tremendous guests. In fact, in a matter of moments, we're going to go to Saudi Arabia to talk to our first guest of the day. Do want to let you know, top of the morning, I wake up, look at my phone at some point. I'm trying to delay that, but I wasn't great. But maybe it was for the best on this particular Tuesday. Yes. Thank you. 1% better, Frank. 1% better. I see a tweet from Conor McGregor about a potential match, a fight, if you will, against Logan Paul, not Jake Paul, Logan Paul in India of all places. I will give you the skinny in the second hour today. So after our last interview of the day, the Sean Brady interview, we will talk about that fight and whether there is any validity to it and what the heck is going on over here, because this kind of came out of nowhere. So stay tuned for that. Plus, much more to come as far as news and notes on the back end of the show. Prior to all of that, we'll be joined by Sean Brady. Looking forward to talking to him. You'll recall that he texted us in the middle of yesterday's show as we were trying to sort out the welterweight division. And so we'll get his thoughts on where he stands. Kind of has become a bit of a forgotten man right now at 170, and that isn't necessarily fair to him. So stay tuned for that conversation. The Funk Master, Aljamain Sterling, returns to now talk about his last fight, which was a little over a week ago against Movsar Evloev. Where does he go from here? He hinted at retirement. Is he, in fact, going to retire? And then he started talking about an Arnold Allen fight in March. And so what the heck is going on with the Funk Master? We'll talk to Aljamain Sterling at around 1:30. But first things first, very excited, honored, dare I say, to be joined by our first guest of the day. He is a brilliant broadcaster. He worked for Sky Sports as their lead boxing play-by-play man for 29 years. He has fought and overcome and defeated unanimously a terrifying bout with cancer. And he is now back in the swing of things as far as boxing is concerned. And in fact, he will be the lead broadcaster, the main play-by-play voice for Saturday's mega event in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Of course, the big one, Oleksandr Usyk versus Tyson Fury 2. He'll be working for DAZN. And this is a big turn of events, and one that I know fans, specifically in the UK, but internationally as well, worldwide, are very excited about. It's great to have Adam Smith back in the broadcasting booth, back ringside, and it's an absolute honor to have him join us to kick things off here on the program today, live from Saudi Arabia. There he is, Adam Smith, in an airport. I don't know where he is right now. Adam, can you see me? Can you hear me? Hello.
I can hear you very well, Ariel, and I am not in an airport, but I am by a big Saudi Arabian plane, which is where the fighters will be making their grand arrival entrance in the next sort of hour or so, the undercard first, and then we'll see Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk probably in about an hour or so. Come down these steps behind me from the plane. Turkey Al-Sheikh's has gone up there to see some of the early card fighters like Johnny Fisher and Moses and Talma. And then Fury and Usyk will be coming, I think, in about an hour's time or so. This is the grand arrivals day, following tomorrow by workouts and a fight card. And then Thursday, press conference and a gala dinner for the Ring magazine. And then Friday's the weigh-in, and Saturday, of course, the big rematch, reignited, the one that we've been waiting for 7 months, and now it's delivered, and we can't wait.
Okay, well, this is tremendous. I love this. This is like real-time, frontline reporting out of you, and thank you so much for setting it up right here and right there. I mean, I feel like we're right there. This is great stuff. It's a real treat. Could I ask about you specifically? Because I know you aren't programmed to make yourself the story, but in many respects, you are a part of this story. You've been sort of slowly getting your way back into the swing of things after your bout with cancer, and delighted to hear that you are feeling much better. I don't want to get into the nitty gritty. You did a great interview with IFL where you talked about it at length and in great detail, and I'm sure that's very difficult. And so congratulations on that. But just to be back here, calling a big fight, as the man, as the play-by-play voice for DAZN, a gigantic heavyweight tilt, just for you personally, after everything you've been through over the last couple of years, what are the emotions? What are the feelings?
Really, really grateful. I think that's the big feeling. I had a great ticket up there going, so I was very, very lucky to make it through. I had a nice a lot of people mentioned. Recently, been worried about it, stressed, on the board 24/7. I now wake up very, very happy and calm, and I've got 3 teenage kids and a lovely family. And also, I love boxing. I love sport. I love the fighters. I've been in this sport for over 3 decades, and the fight is sort of the epicenter for me. So I'm just delighted to be back doing what I love at ringside. I thank DAZN for the chance to work with Darren Barker, and an old friend of mine, somebody I commentated on for many years, fighting. Barry Jones, of course, was the world champion. So 3 of us will knit together, and hopefully it'll be a fantastic night all round. It's a great one to be back for. I guess I had a little warm up at Gibraltar with Dillian White the other night, but this is serious business. It's the fight, as I said, that we've been waiting for. It was a cracker first time around. Oleksandr Usyk won it fair and square. I think now Tyson Fury realizes that. He's locked himself away at Monte. He's had no contact with the outside world. And he's different. I've been in his camp. He's just this professional, phenomenal presenter taking this so the both of them are in terrific shape and ready, and they need to be. And so, yeah, for me personally, Ariel, it's been a really tough couple of years, but it's been nice getting back into the boxing scene, being around it, and I've been given the mic for such a fight. It's an honor, and I never take it for granted. I love fighting. I'm really grateful. I respect that. Welcome.
Uh-huh.
This is Reignited Usyk Fury 2.
You want to move away from there? Because now we can't hear you, because now we're hearing him. Do you want to?
Okay.
I want to hear what you're saying.
Is that a bit better?
That is a bit better, yes.
Okay, I was very, very near a loudspeaker, and it's a great atmosphere here, which is the best thing. It's fantastic, and they put on a brilliant show, as you know. So yeah, look, it's a privilege to be back behind the mic. I'm really looking forward to it. It's a great one to return for, and but I'm looking forward to the whole card. Every fighter on there is going to have a story to tell and a fight to win. And I just adore what I do, and it's lovely being back.
It's great to have you back. Could I ask, can I be cheeky enough to ask, is this the beginning of a new relationship with DAZN? A lot of fans obviously missed you after leaving Sky. What could you tell us about the state of your role with DAZN?
Boston boxing, and it's for these 2 fights.
Oh, we lost him. We're battling the elements over there. We'll reconnect with Adam Smith.
Yes, we will.
Okay, we'll reconnect. And perhaps, Frank, when you reconnect, can you try to get him into a spot where maybe it sounds a little bit better?
Yeah, we'll definitely do that.
Yeah, just guide him there. He has been a part of some incredible moments working for Sky Sports. In fact, one of his most famous moments, at least from an international standpoint, when they did the world tour with Floyd Mayweather, and Ricky Hatton and Floyd showed up in Manchester, he was the one interviewing Floyd, and there was some doubt as to whether or not Floyd would show up. As we attempt to reconnect with Adam Smith, unless we have him here, can I play this clip so the audience understand that?
Go ahead and play it.
That this man has been there, done that, and has been the voice in many respects of boxing in the UK and over in Europe. Take a look. I mean, that is great stuff. That is quintessential Floyd Mayweather, Money Mayweather, the heel back in the day, in the Lion's Den, as he said. And that was a great scene because there was some doubt as to whether or not he would show up. That was prior to the great Ricky Hatton tilt, which of course Floyd ended up winning with relative ease. But the buildup was tremendous, and Floyd was great, showing up there with the United jersey. In the heart of Man City territory, if you will, and just playing to the crowd, dancing, the trumpets or whatever playing, and he's just playing it off and mocking everyone. And so there's Adam Smith with the microphone, working for Sky Sports at the time, and he battled a nasty bout of bladder cancer. Did a great interview with IFL TV, not the International Fighters League, talking about all of that and talking about everything that he's been through and how he essentially thought that he was going to die, looking at himself in the mirror and not recognizing himself anymore and thinking that he just looked like a skeleton and that he was knocking on death's door. And then there he was, he gets better. I actually saw him at the Chantel Cameron-Katie Taylor fight, the first fight. That was back in 2023, May of 2023. And I think that was kind of like his reintroduction. Didn't work, was just there to visit friends. He was working with Eddie Hearn in Matchroom for many years and very close to a lot of the European fighters. Showed up on a PFL broadcast recently, the Savannah Marshall fight, a Bellator broadcast, but this is a huge deal, having him back on comms, if you will. I do believe we have reconnected with the great Adam Smith, and there he is. Can you hear me, Adam?
I can hear you perfectly. It's technology, which is not my strong point.
No.
I'll hopefully it'll be all right.
No, this is all good, and I appreciate the lengths that you're going to bring us inside and to show us the scene, which looks fantastic. So we kind of lost you a little bit there when I asked if this was the beginning of a relationship with DAZN, or was it kind of like a one-off?
Yeah, they've asked me to do the Dillian White fight in Gibraltar, and then the Usyk Fury rematch. So that's the state of play at the moment, and we'll see what 2025 brings. I'm just delighted to have been asked to be involved. I've really enjoyed meeting some of the DAZN team properly in the last sort of week or two, and yeah, this is a huge fight to be involved with. So I'm just going to give it my best. And some old friendly faces like Darren and Barry. And so it's really interesting for me because I've worked at Sky for so long. It's been my whole life, really. And, afterwards I've got a different structure, I guess, which is I've helped out Summit Sports, GBM. I've been on TalkSport a bit, just various different things, helping look after fighters and also broadcasting. So this is a chance to really go back into broadcasting in a big way, and hopefully I'll I'll have a good night on Saturday, and we all will, and we'll dance again maybe. But no, this is it's just for these couple of fights, and we'll see where we are after that. But I'm very, very excited about it.
You're excited, and I can't imagine the feelings. I'm just wondering, you've done this before, hundreds of bouts you've called, if not thousands. Do you feel like a rookie again? Do you have those nerves that maybe you didn't feel for many years?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I tend not to get nervous because I love what I do. I'm passionate about it. The fighters are at the epicenter for me. We're all lucky enough to be doing what we do, and broadcasting, or whether there's the promoters or the managers or the trainers. They're the brave ones that get in the ring, or in MMA into the cage, or tennis onto the court, and football onto the pitch. And I just was never very good at sport, Ariel, when I was growing up. I just loved it, and I was pretty good at watching it. I wanted to be a commentator when I was 9 years old. I used to turn the TV down and practice, and it's what I love. So I don't think there'll be that many nerves. I think more excitement. I think they'll just have to hold me back a bit, probably. But no, it's yes, I have done it many times, but each one I take seriously. With proper preparation, and every fight's different, and that's the unpredictability of boxing. So it'll be more adrenaline, butterflies, and excitement, I think, more than nerves. A bit like fighters, they control their nerves, right? Don't they? But no, it's something I love. I feel comfortable with a mic in my hand. And I felt that something's been missing in the last year or two without that. So it'll be nice to be back right in the thick of it in one of the huge fights of recent times.
And as you mentioned, you've been doing a whole bunch of stuff. Like I said, you were on a PFL broadcast, Bellator broadcast. I see you on Talk Sport. I know about your podcast as well, The Voice of Boxing. You're doing tremendous stuff. And what's fascinating to me is, like, you are not taking your foot off the gas, so to speak. I mean, I've heard you say that you visited with Oleksandr Usyk at his training camp, and you tried multiple times to link up with Tyson Fury, and you were told, we're closing this off. Nothing personal, but no one's allowed in. And so could I ask you first about that? Why? What was the reason as to why they said, no, not this time, no one's coming to visit with Tyson?
Well, I nearly got a phone call with him. Spencer Brown, I think, did his best, but seeing as he hasn't even talked to Paris in 3 months, I think, look, the sign was very clear, that it was closed off, and that this fight he's taking probably more seriously than any fight he's ever had, because he's never lost before. So it's a revenge mission. Yes, he had the Wilder draw, but ultimately it's a defeat, and he's got to come back from it. He closed off his doors to everyone, which I think is what he needed to do. And Oleksandr Usyk was brilliant being around him. I mean, he's got a tight camp too. A big camp. Everybody's got a serious role. There's scientists in there and all sorts. It's a fantastic place to be. It was a privilege to be around him for a few days, and I'd have loved that with Tyson. But I've seen Tyson many times in training before, and I think on this occasion, that speaks volumes. And let's see what sort of Tyson Fury turns up on Saturday night, because I was just talking with James Wardy, who works with Spencer Brown and Gold Star. And Wardy said that he's never seen him like this, and he's worked with him for a long, long time. So I think if he loses Tyson, he'll know that no stone has been left unturned in attempting to wrestle these world titles back and become a 3-time heavyweight champion, and do something that, again, no one really expects him to do. He did it against Vladimir Klitschko to win it first time round. He did it against Deontay Wilder in Vegas in what I think was one of the best performances by any British fighter on foreign soil. Can he do it all over again? You never write Tyson Fury off. I think beating Oleksandr Usyk is going to be very tough. I think Tyson Fury can win this fight, but I think Oleksandr Usyk should win it. So it's for Tyson to change. He did everything right between rounds 4 and 7 last time. Can he continue that? Can he utilize the jab, the reach, the size advantage properly this time? Not sort of be lackadaisical at times like he was in the first fight. But will Oleksandr Usyk allow him to? I thought Usyk looked a little bit more powerful in training camp. I think they put a little bit of weight around the shoulders. So it'd be interesting to see if he thinks maybe he can finish this within the distance, Usyk. It's a fascinating one, which we're all looking forward to here. And the week's only just getting underway. There's plenty more build up, lots to come, and then the two go into battle on Saturday night, and the world awaits for Reignited. Can't wait to call it for DAZN. And I know it sounds a bit weird having been on Sky for so many years, but I just, as you said, I'm doing lots of different things. I'm really enjoying it. I've just seen my old Sky colleagues, and they've got the fight as well, and it's fantastic. It's a big family. I was just saying to a couple of them, it's like a big dysfunctional family, isn't it, boxing? But it's a good one, and it's been nice dipping my toes into MMA with PFL as well, through Savannah Marshall and working with Dan Hardy again, who I absolutely adore. So I've enjoyed that this year. It's been a great year, 2024. 2023 was a year that I had to fight for my life, and fortunately I came through it. And 2024 has been a good one, a much better one, and hopefully it's a sign of good things to come.
Delighted to hear that. Could I ask, if Tyson Fury loses on Saturday, do you think there's a chance that's the last time he fights?
No, I don't. I think he'll fight Anthony Joshua next year. I think Oleksandr Usyk, well, he's told me a few times in camp that he loves it and he wants to carry on boxing. He's 39 in a few weeks' time, but he doesn't look it, and he's a very fresh, 22 professional fights. Yes, a huge amateur career, but he still looks as good as ever. So I think Usyk carries on, and I think Fury carries on, because I think that Joshua fight is too big a fight. It's too big a money fight. It's a fight that every casual fan in Britain wants to see. They're the two names they still know and still talk about. So I think if Fury loses on Saturday, he'll fight Joshua next year. And I think if he wins, there'll be a trilogy. So, I don't think it'll be the last time Tyson Fury's in the ring, unless you never know with him. He's unpredictable. But I think Tyson feels at home inside that squared circle. And I think it's actually going to be tough for him to walk away, because it's what he's always known. And I think whatever happens on Saturday night, he'll still want to fight AJ.
Do you think there's any chance that if he wins on Saturday, they do Tyson versus AJ for the belts with the stakes now raised?
Potentially, yes. I mean, I think Anthony is waiting. I think he was right not to go straight back in with Daniel Dubois. I think he's waiting for this and to see what happens. You never know. I mean, the talk has been of a trilogy. If it's one apiece, then they go again. And I'm sure Usyk's team will demand that. But Turkey makes things happen, and as he has done for the last sort of year and a half. And if the Fury-Joshua fight is a fight that he wants more, it's certainly a fight the British public want. That is the fight that the casuals have been crying out for many years. It nearly happened. It's through no fault of Anthony's or Tyson's. They both wanted this fight. And a couple of times when I was at Sky, it was very, very nearly made. But look, we had that with Khan and Brook. Eventually it got done in Britain. Mayweather Pacquiao should have had three of them before that one happened. We missed out on great fights like Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis, that rematch from the Olympic final. We missed out on Carl Froch and Joe Calzaghe, Ricky Hatton, Junior Witter, plenty of other ones. We don't want to miss out on this. Yes, it's late on in their careers, but it will still sell huge. They could do two of them, one at Wembley and one here in Saudi. So I think Fury Joshua or Joshua Fury, whichever way it's going to be, will happen next year. It's just a case of whether Fury will have the belts or not. That fight doesn't need belts. It doesn't need that. Wembley could be sold out 2-3 times over.
By the way, speaking of, and I won't keep you much longer because I'm cognizant of the fact that you're holding up your phone. I don't want to tire you out before a big weekend. But speaking of Turkey doing extraordinary things, literally as we are speaking right now, he just tweeted this, and I'd love to get your immediate reaction to it. For the first time ever, an AI-powered judge will monitor the fight free from bias and human error, brought to you by The Ring. This groundbreaking experiment, which won't impact the official results, debuts during the biggest fight of the century, Usyk Fury, on December 21st. Is this the wave of the future? Do you think that we're going to do away with judges? Now, he says they won't impact the actual official scoring, but do you see a scenario where somewhere down the line, this is the way we're going?
They do away with you and me. They do away with Michael Buffer, who becomes a hologram. There's all sorts that can happen. Look, we adapt, don't we? And AI is huge. I think it's a very interesting movement. The judges have always had a tricky role, have come under a lot of scrutiny over the years. Difficult decisions, some sort of mouth-watering or eye-watering decisions. And I didn't agree with the Beterbiev-Bivol call. I thought Bivol won that fight. But then there's lots of others that thought Beterbiev won. And look, they dance again. So judges are human, like we are. We make mistakes. So I think it's really good to see what it's like. Let's see what happens. AI is in. AI is the future, and let's see what the AI. What that intelligence can come up with. I'll be fascinated to see because we'll be looking at what the judges do if it goes the distance, like many people are predicting. So yeah, I think it's very novel. I think let's see. It's a fascinating addition to proceedings, and with boxing, we always like the unpredictable, don't we? And this will certainly be that. But yeah, I could see that coming into the sport much more. Obviously, the Ring magazine and everything that Turkey's done has. I don't know whether he wants to try and make it into a UFC and sort of have a sport which has got a round side where everybody sort of understands what happens. I mean, the belts over the years have maybe put the casuals off, the different amount of weight divisions and champions, and is there going to be one champion now, and what's going to happen, and how will AI be brought in with the judges, the scoring, what else is going to change? So much has changed in the last year and a half under Turkey Al-Sheikh and what he's done. I never thought Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn would even shake hands. That was incredible. I came out of hospital and the two of them were embracing. It's madness. And look, we wait to see what happens in the future. But at the moment, it's pretty bright with what's happening here in Saudi, because the big fights are being made. The best are fighting the best. Whether you've got judges who are human or AI, you're still going to get fighters, and they can't do much without the fighters and the fighters. And if the best are fighting the best, and we're getting that as fans, and they're getting opportunities to make huge money, then something's going right. We're in a good period. So long may it continue.
Final one, if I may. We're talking about the future. I want to go back to the past, because as we were reconnecting with you, I played the clip of you and Floyd Mayweather at that infamous scene in Manchester with him playing up to the crowd, and you say to him, "You're in the lion's den." I've always wanted to ask you this. What was that scene like? Because you did mention in the short interview with him, like there was some questions as to whether or not he would even show up. I'm sure you could probably do 3 hours on that day. But if you can just humor us with a couple of minutes, what was that day like with Floyd coming over to Manchester?
It was crazy, as most days with Floyd Mayweather were. I remember Floyd when he was in the Olympics and got robbed in Atlanta and was a fascinating young pro, and the talk of whether he fight our own Prince Nassim Hamed. And he was an amazing super featherweight, wasn't he, knocking everybody out. Then, of course, he fought Ricky Hatton. Both were unbeaten. Ricky was the fans' favourite, the boy next door who had a pint of Guinness with most of his fans, and Floyd was the enemy, and he puts the Man United, look at Leonard and him putting the Man United shirt on to taunt Ricky's love of Manchester City, and it was really raining that day as well. And no, I didn't think he would come out, but Floyd did. He's his own man, and there's never been anyone like him. I think he's the best I've seen live to lace the gloves on. The best I've seen in a gym as well. And it was a privilege to be around Floyd Mayweather. Love him or hate him, you had to watch him. And of course, Conor McGregor found out how good he was when they fought, and we meshed the MMA and boxing worlds together. And that got me interested in MMA actually a little bit more. And but Mayweather, he was an absolute one-off. I'm not sure about his exhibitions these days. I think he's proved what he proved, that he was the best and the greatest. And do we want to see many more of them? I don't know. I just like Floyd Mayweather's phenomenal, and he was a great character as well. And those days where he played the bad guy, fantastic. And him and Hatton had it was just a great build-up. 24/7 with HBO, and it was just brilliant. And of course, Ricky bought 40,000 to Vegas, and they drunk the place dry. And it was great memories. And Mayweather was outstanding, wasn't he, that night, as he proved time and time again to be the very best.
Well, you look like you haven't aged a day from that scene in Manchester, standing next to Floyd. It's so great to have you on, and it's so great to see you back in the swing of things. Enjoy. I'd say good luck. I don't think you need it. It's a treat. I can't wait to hear you on the call with the great Darren Barker and Barry and Ade and Kate and the whole team over there. I respect and love them dearly. And most importantly, happy holidays to you and your family afterwards. I know this is going to be a meaningful one for you and your family, so enjoy it all, and thank you for a few minutes on this Tuesday evening in Riyadh.
It's a pleasure. Love your show. Not bloke smoke, but you're fantastic at what you do. And honestly, it's a real honor to come on. Thank you for that. It's going to be a really special Christmas. I'll be home with the family for that. And yeah, it's just nice being alive. It's nice being able to do what I love. And I'm very grateful for the opportunities.
Enjoy it. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate it very much.
Thanks, Ariel.
There he is, Adam Smith. What a guy. What a broadcaster. And it's going to be great to have him on the call. DAZN has a great team over there. Obviously, I'm biased. I work with a lot of them. Love Ade. Love Kate. Todd, great as well. Mike Costello. And to add him to the mix, the great Adam Smith. And obviously here in America, we kind of grew up with Jim Lampley, Morrow later on with Showtime. We've been very spoiled. But over in the UK and Ireland in particular, I'm sure PT can tell you a lot about Adam Smith because he was the voice. 29 years, a terrifying bout with cancer. He has thankfully overcome it, but you never truly, move on from those things. There's constant checkups. I know this very well. My father-in-law had very serious colon cancer when he was in his early 40s, and it completely changed his life. It changed his family's life. And so don't wish that upon anyone, but great to see how grateful he is, how happy he is to be back, and it's quite the fitting scene. What a fight, what a card that is, and a card that was somewhat maligned because I think we have become somewhat spoiled now with the depth of these cards. But if you're a fan of heavyweight boxing, obviously you can't do much better than Usyk and Fury. And 2 years ago, that would be it. I mean, 2 years ago, we're probably not even getting that fight, if I'm being honest. But when you add the likes of Johnny Fisher, who's an up-and-comer, when you add the likes of Moses Itauma, who a lot of people think is going to be the next great UK heavyweight, there is some meat on that bone, so to speak. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm also looking forward to our watch party, which I should mention will be going down this Saturday as well. The boys, GC, Rick, everyone will be watching and enjoying the event on Saturday afternoon, and then immediately afterwards we'll have a post-fight show for all of you. So that will be kind of our last stop. I did mention last week on the Ariel and Ade show that this was going to be the last big event of the year in combat sports, and someone reminded me that both Naoya Inoue and Ryan Garcia are fighting towards the end of the year. Since then, the Inoue fight was canceled. Goodman suffered a cut. And Ryan Garcia has recently announced that he is out of his fight against, there he is, Anpo, excuse me. I'm really sorry to announce that I injured my wrist during my training for my exhibition in Japan. I'm working on getting it rescheduled and bringing an amazing event to Ryzen and Fanmio. Sorry for any inconvenience, and a big sorry to my opponent. You will have to wait for your humiliation, but it is coming. Big love to everyone supporting me. I miss boxing so much. See y'all soon, and happy holidays. Seems to be in a good spot. Obviously, there was some debate as to, all right, what happened here? Because, Oscar De La Hoya did say, hey, they never got the okay to use our guy Ryan. I'm not calling cap. Others are going to call cap. I'm not going to call cap. I don't do that sort of thing. I'll believe Ryan. I'll take his word for it, and I will just say that I was apparently correct that the last big combat sports event of the year.
Something that he would want to hide, or sorry, Ariel.
No. What was that?
I'd say, would that be something that Ryan wouldn't just come out and say, like, yeah, there was an issue, we had to resolve it?
It's just like 1 + 1 = 2. The issue was never publicly resolved, right? It went from Oscar De La Hoya saying we never agreed to this, and then there was nothing. There was no follow-up. I asked...
Yeah, so this is the only thing that we have.
Well, then the next time we hear about it is he's out.
Got you. Okay, I'm picking it up.
So I can understand why some people are like, wait a second, what happened here? I could totally understand that. Weird things happen in the sport of boxing. I mean, what happened very recently? There was another thing that happened recently where it was like, this is an app. Oh, it was. Well, that was a super weird one. Good call, great call. But there was also the Corey Anderson fight, the Vadim Nemkov fight, which then became the Corey Anderson fight. And Antti Daleli's team said like we never agreed to this. And then all of a sudden the fight was off. And now we got Nemkov and Anderson, and now Anderson saying that Nemkov is off. I mean, that's a mess of a situation, out, I should say, in its own right. So it's a wacky world, combat sports, Frank. It's a wacky world.
You're telling me.
Yeah. Let me see what's going on here. Well, in a matter of moments, back end, 2 o'clock, top of the hour, we're going to be joined by Sean Brady. You'll recall yesterday on the program, we were trying to sort out the welterweight division in the UFC. And Sean was watching live, and he weighed in. And so I said, you know what, Sean? We haven't talked to you in a while. Jump on in. And so he's going to join us at 2 o'clock. But in a matter of seconds, hopefully, we're going to be joined by the great Aljamain Sterling, 35 years young, 24-5, obviously coming off that hard-fought bout against Movsar Evloev just about, what was that? I don't know, 9 or so days ago in Las Vegas, final UFC pay-per-view of the year, UFC 310. In fact, the first unanimous decision loss of Aljo's career. He's done a lot more winning than losing, of course. And there are some people out there who actually thought he won the fight, 2 rounds to 1. It was a 3-round fight, and just his second defeat in the UFC since 2017. And obviously that other one was the Sean O'Malley fight, but on some kind of run. Obviously, since then, wins over Piotr Yan, Henry Cejudo, TJ Dillashaw, Corey Sandhagen, Pedro Munoz, Jimmy Rivera, and moved up to 145 earlier this year, made his featherweight debut at UFC 300, solid win over Calvin Kattar, and then came back and fought Movsar Evloev, a fight that was supposed to happen in October. They had to reschedule it. He joined us in studio. He launched his rum, Funk Harbor. He was making the rounds in New York, right? He was making the rounds, showing up on, what was it? Good Night New York? Was that
Good
it?
Night New York.
Good Night New York. There he is. Entrepreneur, Aljamain Sterling. I mean, we polished off that bottle in one sitting. I think Frank had 75% of it. But nevertheless, who, me? A tasty, tasty treat. He's kind enough to join us right now. Let us say hello to the Funk Master, Aljamain Sterling. Yeah, they polished it off, Aljo. We might have to get a couple more. I mean, it was quite a delight.
That's good to hear. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it, man. That's it makes me feel good to hear that people are enjoying the product.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. I know you spoke. You spoke on your podcast immediately afterwards. You've said some things on social media. Can I take your temperature? Some 9 days after the fight, close, hard-fought bout. A lot of people don't want to fight this guy. Undefeated in the UFC, undefeated in his career. Some thought you even won the fight. The grappling exchanges were great. We talked about it being buried on the undercard. It ended up being a fantastic battle. I wish there were 2 more rounds. How do you feel about the whole body of work from UFC 310?
I mean, overall, I thought it was a great fight. I was happy with it. There was one thing at the end that if I could change, it would be in the 3rd round where I went to go run him over with my hips. I normally get into full mount from that position, is actually what I did to Piotr Yan. Most guys don't know to come up so that all the weight doesn't run them flat to their back. Movsar was smart. As he see me charging forward, he started to come up and caught me with the underhook. And that's how he got that minute and 30 seconds of control. And I'm still conflicted because I don't know if that should have won him the round after 3 minutes of control time. I mean, there was a little bit of striking on the feet, not too much. I want to say I edged him out on the feet in that beginning of the 3rd round, but then on the ground, he was throwing like the busy punches, just trying to, I don't know, man. I think my takedown where I slammed him on his head, does way more damage than any of those pitter-patter strikes. I don't know. So I'm a little conflicted. I still feel like I won it, but obviously on the record it's a loss, so it is what it is. I just got to move on to the next. And I mean, this is the guy who's supposed to be the next champion, so it lets me know exactly where I'm at in my career at 145 and what I'm capable of doing. And I think I'm in a pretty good spot. I think I fight like that against anybody in this division. I think it's going to be a bad night for him. He had some good defensive tricks that where I was doing the same thing to him and he was doing the same thing to me, which would result in the loss of control. It's like as soon as you go to throw the punches, as a wrestler, we understand the when you separate your hands, that's the time to go. When my hands are locked, it's going to be a little bit of a fight trying to break the grip. It's not that easy to do. But when the guy goes to punch, that's when you're supposed to make your move. And I think that's why people got to enjoy the high level grappling exchanges. When I had him dead to rights, he was smart. He just froze my hands and waited and didn't do anything. I'm just like, all right, I'm not trying to have a boring fight. I know if I decide here and wait with you, nothing's going to happen. People are going to start booing. But I decided to take the initiative and to try to strike and open up with some damage. It's easier said than done. I think a lot of people, if you understand the nuances in grappling, you understand the beauty and the sequences that we were actually having. So I'm glad a lot of people actually found some enjoyment in the grappling exchanges.
So you talked about, him being undefeated and people thinking he may be the next guy. Now that you've gotten to actually get in there with him, your kind of thoughts on who Movsar Evloev is as a fighter. Is he worthy of the hype? Is he a future champion in your opinion?
I think he could be a future champion. I don't think he's going to be one that's going to be long reigning. If you're asking me, I mean, of course you can continuously get better, right? Every single time you get in there with a more skilled guy, you get better. I kind of look at fighting like Pokemon. Like every time you battle, you level up and you grow with experience points, right? So hopefully one day you evolve. With that said, I think he could become champion. I think he's good enough to become champion. I think he has good enough takedown defense. Well, maybe not takedown defense, or maybe it was just the timing that I was able to hit those so well. And you know what's crazy? The game plan was to strike, but it's so instinctual the way I drill so much with my entries, and they're not just BS entries where you're just going to a class and you're just doing and you just get into a robotic rhythm where it's not going to be anything like the fight. I emulate a lot of the things that I do with my opponents, with my training partners. I try to get guys that can replicate the same exact movements as best as they can. And I try to get those real-time timing on the shots. And I ask them to try to do this, try to do that. And that's how you get that more instinctual feel where it's like, oh, I feel like I've been here before already. So a lot of those sequences, I feel like the takedowns came because it was so well driven into me. But when I would spar and I would make the mindset, all right, we're going to fight on the feet because I want to make sure I'm getting comfortable, getting my reps and work on some of the things that we've been drilling for. And then I didn't get to do half the tricks that we planned for on the feet, which would have made the fight that much more fun, I think, in my personal opinion. But again, I think Movsar could definitely become a champion for sure. I have no doubt about that. It's the only thing that I would say is the striking on the feet. So I don't think his striking defense was the greatest for the very little that I threw. I feel like every time I threw, I kind of connected, So I don't know. It's he can become champ for sure, but I would definitely love to see him down the road again, and this time for 5 rounds.
So supremely close fight, fun fight, entertaining fight. You went in there with arguably the top contender and fall just short. Afterwards, you imply that you have to think about some things, which is fair. I'm assuming at this stage in your life, you're always kind of reassessing. But it sounds like you're maybe considering maybe walking away. And I know now you've since talked about that a little bit. Where do we stand right now? Is that still a thought in your mind?
No, I want to compete, man. I miss it. I just love it so much. Even when I was at Tampa watching the fights, there's just something very, very addictive about the walk, the competing, the waiting period. The only thing that sucks, honestly, is the weight cut. That weight cutting is just such a stain on the sport overall. But once that part's done, the excitement of training and then going in there competing in front of the world. I don't think there's any high like that. There really isn't. And for me to hang it up when I know I still have gas in the tank, I feel like I would be doing something that I might regret later on, whereas it's going to be like, damn, I wish I would have just done a few more when I know I had the physical capability of still doing it versus when I'm in my 40s and then I'm looking back like, man, I could have done one more. I should have did it. So that's where I'm at. But it's tough to go through a tough training camp like that and to get beat like that. It kind of leaves a sour taste in your mouth where you're just like, man, I did all that just to lose like this in such a close fight. There's bittersweetness about it. The positives. I know where I'm at. I know I can be the best in the world again. And then the shitty part is like, man, I just did weeks on weeks of training. I did 2 training camps back to back because of this stupid injury. And just to come up short, I would almost rather get beat convincingly where I'm just like, there's nothing I can say. I have nothing I can say. I just came up a little short for the judges. I'm thankful that a lot of the fans thought I won. I still think I won. And I can live with that.
And so that feeling there, is that just like you sort of coming to terms? Like where does that, clearly you still want to fight, clearly you still love it. Where does that sentiment come from in the immediate aftermath?
Just to walk back, when everything hits you, the adrenaline starts to come down and you're like, man, you're looking at the mountaintop, you slipped a little bit and you got to pick yourself up. And it's just like, man, I got to climb back up this hill once again. And I've been here before. I went 4-0 my first UFC contract, 3 finishes in a row. That's when I was young, making 135 super easily. And then I lost my first 2 fights on my next contract to Brian Caraway, then to Rafael Santal by split decision. I come back, I finally win. And then I win 2 in a row. Then I get knocked out by Marlon. And then I'm just like, oh my God, this sucks. And then I climb back up the mountain again. I go on a crazy run, beat Sandhagen, someone who was a young prospect that they were touting as the next champion, beating Pedro Munoz, who just knocked out Garbrandt, beating Jimmy Rivera. I beat so many guys to get to this point, to fight for a belt, get the DQ, and that leaves a bad taste in my mouth. It's just shitty that a lot of fans turned on me and thought I was acting in a real shitty situation. And then I go back, I get redemption, but fans still don't think it's good enough. So there's a lot of emotional roller coasters in this. And I'll tell you one thing, going through in Tampa, man, I felt the love. I was like, this is nice. I forgot what this felt like. After I beat Pedro in Sandhagen, that was like the pinnacle of the fan love that I got. And then I just went to straight hate and just weird energy. But it was cool to see that from the fans, man. So that's always a motivator as well, because that's why we're doing it at the end of the day. But after the fight, that's the aftermath. You think about all those things, and you gotta be real about where you're at in your career and your life, and you have to question, like, do you still have the motivation to go through another grueling training camp like that again, to climb the mountain with uncertainty that you're not sure if it's going to be good enough that you're going to win? Because at the end of the day, every single fight's it's an unknown. You really don't know what's going to happen. You can prepare as best as you can, but you got to be realistic and know, like, there's still a chance, even though you might think it's slim, but there's still a chance you could get caught and you could lose the fight.
I saw that photo of you and Movsar after the fight. What was that interaction like?
It was cool. Movsar's seems like a nice guy. I got nothing bad to say about the guy. I know people were making a bigger thing out of their little steroid stuff. And it wasn't even steroids, it's PDs, whatever. But again, I always make sure when I speak, I say things and not in an absolute. Again, I spoke on that on what I was told from information. I have no idea what the guy does. I'm not in his bathroom. I'm not traveling with the guy, so I have no idea. This is just, I just know people don't say that about me, and that's all I want to clarify. And I jokingly said, like, and then people gonna say it's not a joke, that I would get tested every day just to prove that I don't do shit. And I don't know if most of my opponents or any of them could actually say the same thing. I don't know. But again, it's just all my thoughts. And as the great Nate Diaz says, they're all on steroids, man. So I don't know. But again, Movsar's a cool dude. No negative energy afterwards, and we actually saw each other like multiple times after the fight. I was just like,
Oh, right, the dessert, right?
At this point, are we friends? Do we start training with each other? Like, what are we doing?
What happened that you were in the restaurant, right, and he sent you desserts?
No. So they got him dessert, but he doesn't apparently eat sugar or some shit like that. So he gave it to me because I guess he knows I eat everything. So I took it, I ate his, and then the owner, Mutalin, he actually got me my own at Nuka, and that was pretty cool. So says forever champ or champ forever. One of those. Champ forever or forever champ, and I thought that was cool. Because at the end of the day, what I've done is still going to be in the history books. But I did ask Movsar about what he was doing with his grip, because when I had his back, man, dude, I thought the fight was over. I was like, you let me get around your neck, and this fight is over. This is not 135 Aljo that got to conserve his energy. This is a new, younger, I don't want to say younger, but I feel like the younger version of myself where I was an Energizer Bunny at 135. And then as I got older, it got a little bit harder, and that weight cut just took it out of me the further the fight would go. But yeah, he did something where he was pinching. I don't know. I couldn't tell if he was grabbing my hand or pinching with just his bicep, because his bicep had an extra muscle that I never seen before. But he held it really tight, and I couldn't get my hands out. And we were just sitting in a backpack position while he was almost in like a half split. It was super weird, but I was just asking about that because I was like, that's interesting. I never seen nobody do that, or no one's ever done that to me in the training room before.
Do you think he could beat Ilya?
I think if he can avoid the strikes of Ilya, I mean, again, it's a fist fight. Anything can happen, but I know if I could hit him on the feet, Ilya can wrestle. He's a stationary target, so he doesn't move as much as I do. So maybe Movsar could time takedowns on him, but I know if Ilya hits him and connects, yeah, that's not a good night for Movsar. But can he grind him down for 5 rounds? That's always possible if Ilya doesn't come correct and he lets himself get taken down a few times, takes the power out of his arms. Now his punches don't have as much pop and snap on it. It makes for a very intriguing fight. I wish they would just do the fight right away so we could get some clarity and keep the division moving versus the rematch. But again, Volk is all-time great, so I think he has earned that if there's anybody who does. But yeah, I guess that's where it's at right now in this division.
Okay, so now speaking of the division, it seems like you've got that itch because I've seen you mention Ortega and Arnold Allen, and there's the man, Merab, and I'll ask you about him in a moment. But what about this? Arnold Allen in March? Are you saying, there it is, good scrap, but it's on to the next? Arnold Allen, let's do it in March, mate. What do you think? So are you saying Arnold in London? Is that what you're interested in?
I mean, I think London would give me 12 weeks, years or something like that, or 10. And I think that's ideal. This way I can help Merab and then have him finish up his camp for Umar. I can help out Nassim for his fight in February with Bonfim. And then I could jumpstart my camp with the Umar camp and be ready for our March turnaround. Either him, Ortega, I heard he's going up to 155. I love Ortega. He's the man. Like, dude's super chill. But, I mean, we're not, like, best friends or anything. So I don't have a problem calling him out. It's not on anything disrespectful. You're like, that's one of the homies I fought on the car with multiple times. I fought with him in Fresno where it was a really bad night for me, a great night for him. I fought with him in Anaheim where he won, but it was a way better night for me with my fight with Renan Barao and his fight with Renato Moicano. You know, he came back and finished the guy in the 3rd round and just showed his grit even after taking a beating. You know, he's fought the who's of the division at this point. So I just think it would be a great fight with 2 older guys. I think I'm a bit older, but 2 guys that have fought for the belt. I just think and he's got a good name value. You know, that was one of the things that kind of annoyed me with the Movsar fight. It's like, no one knows who he is, but I think the UFC putting him against me helped elevate him, even though it was on the prelims. I think a lot of people tuned into that and got to see what he was about, got to learn more about me and what I could bring to the octagon as well. So a fight with Ortega, if he stays at 45, I would love that fight. He doesn't have to worry about me maybe cracking him like Diego Lopez or anything like that, which makes it more fun in the sense of maybe we have a stand-up fight because his jiu-jitsu is very threatening. I'm not looking to play jiu-jitsu with Brian because he might be better at that than I am. So I think it makes for a fun fight. It could be a fun stand-up fight or maybe a fun grappling fight as well. Or Arnold Allen. I think we both had very close fights. Some people think he beat Movsar. So maybe we're like the two defaults.
Yeah.
But he said he's fighting Yair Rodriguez. That's what he commented on my post. So I said, fair play. If he is fighting him, then okay, cool. If not, then I would like to see him in March.
Okay. I like these options. You're wearing the shirt. We saw Merab. He had that press conference. I want to ask you just about a couple of things there. You have been there, done that. And the first thing that I was worried about, if I could put it that way, for Merab was, and I said it to him on the show last week, and he agreed to a degree with me as well. So it's not like I'm saying this behind his back. I was worried that he was too emotional in that press conference. And I think historically, when a fighter, especially a champion, feels like he's being wrong and sometimes goes in with the mentality that he's not just fighting the opponent, but he's also fighting the promotion and everyone who's out to get him, it tends to not work out for him. And I'm wondering if you agree with any of that sentiment, because I never really see, like, we obviously know he's an emotional guy and he can be passionate, but like at that press conference, I felt like he was mad and angry and very emotional to the point where it made me worry, like, is he going to fight emotionally come January 18th when he fights Umar because of everything that has happened, everything that's been said? Do you share any of those concerns?
I think I would be lying to your face if I were, and to the fans, if I were to say no. Definitely some concern about that, but our goal and our job as corners, as teammates, as friends and neighbors, just keep it in perspective for him. Like, dude, this is just another tough fight. You fought the toughest guys already. You beat the toughest guy. You actually proven that you belong here. You don't have a cousin's coattails to ride off of. Even if the work you've done was decent, but you're not riding off the coattails of anybody. You had to get here the hard way. Keep that in perspective. Know that you deserve to be the champion and you earned to be the champion. Now it's up to you to go out there and defend, but you got to do it with a clear head, level head, stick to the game plan. And our job is to make sure that we fine tune that every single time. Like after this, I want to go watch him spar. And that's part of the puzzle, because we got to make sure when he's sparring, he's actually keeping all these things, these thoughts in the back of his mind, so that when it comes fight day, it's not a complete emotional buildup all over again. It's like, okay, I remember feeling these emotions in the training room. I just got to keep them in check and just do what I do best, do what I did in the training room, and good things are going to happen.
And so the other thing, and you've had to deal with this and you've spoken quite openly about it, is like just how to play the game, so to speak, right? Like he's now the champ and he's seeing that there's a game that needs to be played. Battling the corporation, like how do you separate that? And is there any wisdom that you're trying to impart on him that maybe you wish you could do differently, or things that got you riled up when there was nothing that you could have done, and so that he doesn't have to go down that same path?
I think the easiest thing that I was able to change my mindset, opposed from the last one, the last one at 135. Is that you can only control what you can control. And at the end of the day, you can't control what they try to do. You can only say yes or no. And after you make that decision, you kind of have to live with it, even if the results don't go your way. I've had to say yes, and I was able to come up on the right side of the decisions in the Jan fight and the Henry fight. Both fights I still wanted, but in terms of the timetable, because of just prolonged injury, pre-existing injury. But thankfully, I rolled the dice and it worked out. I tried to roll the dice one extra time. And I made my stipulations for after. I was like, win or lose, I just want to have some time to decompress and actually enjoy some of the fruits of my labor, so I can miss fighting, miss competing, and miss doing what I love. And I was granted that. Even though it was in defeat, it was still something to keep in mind. And I think that's the same thing Merab has to do. They're going to do what they want to do. They're going to press the buttons that they want, in the sense of trying to get the fights that they want made when they want it. It's not like Merab doesn't want to fight Umar. It was all about the timetable. And I think the talking point that Umar or his team or whoever is on Twitter that riled him up is when they start talking about his country. And my thing is, I respect all religions. You want to worship Allah, you want to worship God, you want to say there's no heaven, there's no hell, whatever as long as you have some type of faith, whatever, do your thing, you're not hurting nobody. I don't care. I really don't care. But to use your religion as a way to say that someone is running away from you when you're the one that's begging for something, not the other way around, I think that's a little disingenuous. And that was the only thing that I had bad to say about Umar and what he was doing. I was like, brother, you're not the champion right now. You don't call the shots. You fight almost once a year. Almost once a year. That's kind of crazy. I don't know. So I just want to make sure we're speaking on facts. Yeah, there are years where he has fought more than once. What I'm saying is the majority of the time, it's either an injury or something. I've been there. I know what that feels like. Now you have Ramadan that also puts you out for possibly 2 to 3 months. I believe Bilal fought during Ramadan, if I'm not mistaken. So why is it that for one person it's okay, but for you it's not okay? And why does Merab need to be the one as the current champion? Why does he need to bend for the challenger? That's all I was saying. And I think anyone with a reasonable, logical brain can understand that. And that's why I told Merab, I said, listen, man, if he ain't ready to fight you now, not now in March, let him wait till after Ramadan. That's on him. That's not your problem. Why is that your problem? That was the only thing I would have liked to have seen this fight later on rather than sooner, just so that there's a fair shake on this. Because the last thing I want is people to have you just want it to be as fair as it could possibly be, right? That's really it. And I don't like anyone getting short-sighted, blindsided, having to take something on short notice. I mean, let's be honest, this fight's being made on six weeks notice, I think, or maybe 6.5 for a title fight. I mean, I understand having to do that if you're a challenger, but as a champion, you shouldn't be relegated to those type of stipulations. It's just not right. Then it leaves a bad taste in your mouth as in, why did I work so hard to get this position to call the shots or some of the shots, and you're not even getting a fair shake in it, So hopefully we go out there, knock on wood. Merab does his thing. He takes his O, puts on a great performance, and we can move on from this and on to the next.
Quick turnaround after a title fight. Where have I heard this story before?
Sounds very familiar. Yeah, but the ones who don't understand the sport and what goes into preparing properly for a fight will say, "But you should have never said yes. No one put a gun to your head." I'm like, I mean, you are technically right, but it's also not the correct thing to do. It's not ideal, and that's why I want to fight Movsar with the full camp. Give me some time to make sure this injury is not going to be a factor. I want to make sure there's no excuses. We want to find out who the best guy is. And that's all it is. This is how I am in victory or defeat. I just want to know who the best guy is. I don't want you to say, well, I twisted this, I twisted that. Oh, I had a hurt rib cage, so I couldn't grapple for 4 weeks. Fuck you. I just had a 5-round fight with one of the best guys in the world, double champion, and you're talking about your stupid rib injury that you had during the training camp. All right, so that's what happens. We get hurt in training camp, as you've seen with my fight with Movsar and why I got pushed. Like, I don't know. Like, you can't wear the shoe on both feet sometimes and try to play both games, because that's disingenuous, and then you're trying to use that as I'm propping myself up. Like, no, motherfucker, go fuck yourself.
How do you like, now that you think about the fight, now that it's a real thing? Because when we last spoke, it was still kind of up in the air. How do you feel about how it plays out?
I think it's going to be very similar to my fight with Movsar, if I'm being honest. The good thing about Merab is he's not going to play jiu-jitsu. He doesn't really play jiu-jitsu. He has some pretty good chokes from the front headlock position, but no one's really gotten to see it because he doesn't use it and put himself in a bad situation. There was one point where I don't want to say I jumped for the guillotine, but I tried to catch a head and arm guillotine when Movsar was trying to pass to see if I could use that to sweep him. But he's not going to be doing stuff like that. So when he gets to those positions, it's going to be a different game plan that he's going to bring to the table. I think Merab's gas tank. I think he wins with that. Umar might have the edge in the striking, but I think the pressure is going to get to him. I think it's going to be very different. A lot of guys talk shit about Merab because it might not look the prettiest, but it's very, very effective. And when you want to compare it to another champion, think DDP. So it might not be the prettiest, but the guy's a winner. He knows how to win, and when he hits you, he hits pretty damn hard. So I think Umar is going to be. And the world in that region of the world is going to be pleasantly surprised because I don't think they hate Merab, but I think they're such fanboys of the Dagestani guys. It's very cult like. No matter what critical thing you say, even if it's a positive or anything critiquing that they could do better or about their style, you're automatically condemned in their eyes. You're like, you're a bad guy. You don't say this about our Dagestani guys. I respect the support, but it's also like, let's simmer down a little bit. Let's be rational people. We're not bashing these guys whatsoever. We're just speaking on facts and or giving my opinion. And it's not a disrespectful opinion. But you see it online all the time. These guys come out in droves. I don't know if it's a bunch of burner accounts just talking shit. It's crazy. But then they talk about respect and humility and all these things, but then they talk another way, and I'm just like, which one is it? Which face are you guys? Because I can't tell. I really can't. And I wish those guys would say something to their fans because maybe they would actually listen.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Could I ask, have you found your passport?
No, I'm trying to expedite it. I got to go to LA tonight. I got a 7 a.m. appointment. We're going to El Salvador. If I get my passport, going back to my fiance's homeland, where she's actually from the States, but her parents, both of them born and raised in El Salvador, moved here when they were like their young 20s, I believe. So that's gonna be cool. I get to see where her stomping grounds are, the same way she got to see my stomping grounds in Jamaica.
Oh man, and hopefully 2025 you can actually get married. I know you've talked about being so busy that you can't even plan a wedding. Is this the year? Is 2025 the year?
I hope so. This is the plan. I think secretly she's the one delaying everything.
Wow.
I'm the one in fight camp, and I say just go look at the venues, make the appointments.
Wow.
I would try to come when I get to come, take videos or whatever if I can't come because of training, and then we'd be good. But she tends to
oh no,
not today, not there, and then it turns into weeks, and then a few months, and I'm just like, I don't know if this is my fault at this point. At this point, I don't think it's my doing.
Okay, I don't know if I want to get in between that. I just actually feel happy, honestly, because I was worried. I didn't get to save the date in the mail, but now you don't have a date, so I feel better about that. I was getting a little bit, I was like, this is awkward. But now I feel better, so thank you. Thank you.
Probably September.
Okay, we got some time. Perfect. Appreciate it as always. Thank you, Aljo. Great fight. And I think, if nothing else, you proved, both of you proved, how ludicrous it was to put you guys on the prelims. Again, a thing that, we get riled up about, you get paid the same, all that stuff, but when you compare it to, say, I don't know, the Crone performance, you're like, what was going on here? That was a pay-per-view worthy fight, if anything. So I'm sure you could take some solace in that.
Yeah, I won't say anything bad. He's a Gracie, so I won't say anything bad.
Fair enough.
I would just say maybe he should have been flip-flopped, but it is what it is. But I do appreciate the time. And if anyone wants to get some rum, funkharborrum.shop. We still have a $10 off discount and free shipping. Use the promo code FUNK at checkout. And we have the white rum coming. Which side is it on? This side right here. This is going to be here in February. It was supposed to be January, but we had a little bit issue with the timetable just because we had to get the label right. But we're going to have this one. It should be about $20 to $30 a bottle. All Jamaican rum, no additives, no preservatives, no food coloring, no animal products. So technically, it's a vegan product, all 100% sugarcane. So go check it out. Blended with 3 different Jamaican distilleries. Funk Arbor Rum from the Dry Arbor Mountains. All right.
Love it. And you even give us a little accent there, too, when you say it. I love it. That's amazing. Thank you, Aljo. Good luck with the passport, and happy holidays to you and your family.
Thank you. Happy holidays, guys.
All right, there he is, Aljamain Sterling. I'd love that Arnold Allen fight. I'd love that Brian Ortega fight too, honestly. I feel like Brian Ortega is going to move up to 155. Maybe he decides otherwise. Some other options there. Yair could be Arnold. You got Josh Emmett out there. Lerone Murphy in London. That's the kind of name that Lerone has been looking for, and he would obviously be the guy in the UK for that one. Bryce Mitchell out there as well. So definitely some options. This is what happens when someone has primarily fought in one weight class and then they move up. And now there's a litany of people, sort of like the Patricia Pitbull thing that we were talking about, although that's switching, organizations, but same type of concept. By the way, thumbs up to the chat. The great Demetrius Johnson just chilling in the chat, and I'm quite certain that is actually him. What a guy! What an empire he has built over on the Mighty Cast channel, doing tremendous stuff over there with the great Michael Wansover. I mean, one day he's on the show with us, and he's interviewing big names, and he's training with Khabib and Islam. Incredible stuff. What a guy, that Demetrius Johnson. Now, in a matter of seconds, we're going to be joined by one of the very best welterweights in the world. His name is Sean Brady. You know him very well. 17-1 in his pro career, 7-1 in the UFC. His last fight was back in September. Massive win, arguably his biggest and best win to date, and that was against Gilbert Burns. We didn't get a chance to talk to him after that fight because that was during the little hiatus, if you will, in between shows. And so this is our first chance getting to do so. And yesterday on the program, we were trying to sort the top of the welterweight division following the Joaquin Buckley win over Colby Covington. And all of a sudden I look down and there's a text from the great Sean Brady saying, yo, give me Leon Edwards on the 22nd of March in London. And so I said, you know what, let's get Sean on the program to hear what's up with him and obviously talk to him about that massive win over Gilbert Burns. He's kind enough to join us right here and now. There he is. Hello, Sean. How are you?
Well, I'm good, brother. How are you? Thank you for having me on.
No, it's a pleasure. Thank you for watching the show yesterday.
Yeah.
So you're there watching us and you're like, these fucking guys don't know what they're talking about. It should be me against Leon Edwards.
I'm in the gym. It's after practice. I'm getting my lift in, and I'm listening to the show like I do. And yeah, I just think if you look at the rankings and you look at how everything's playing out and who's available, me and Leon make the most sense, you know?
Okay, and I love that. I love that you're throwing your name in the hat. I love that you want that fight, especially that would be you going to London, you going to essentially enemy territory, which would, I think, be a fun spot for you, right? You're not afraid of that.
No, yeah, and like if you look at it, and I think for me, historically, I would want to go somewhere and prove myself because my first loss did come while I was traveling to Bilal, and I'm a completely different fighter now, so I just want to prove it to myself that I can go somewhere, go in someone's backyard and win a fight, you know, and like so my wife's due in February. So March is like kind of soon, but to fight Leon, a -- contender in his home. And like you boys were saying yesterday, if I win that fight, I think I am in title contention. So it's worth the risk to go over there and fight Leon and beat him at home.
And I love the fact that you are rocking the dad sweatshirt. That's great.
Yeah.
Well done. And I hope that your wife is feeling great and the baby is great and everything goes supremely smoothly. That is most important. You have one of the best managers in the game, the great Lloyd Pearson. And so I'm wondering, have you guys reached out to the UFC and said, yo, we are interested. We want this.
Yeah. So Lloyd's doing it, you know, Lloyd's one of the best. He's, I talk to him every day. I was literally just on the phone with him. He's probably tired of hearing from me, but, yeah, he's pushing them, and they know that's what we want. If not, though, I would like to fight. I heard they're coming to Miami in April, so I would like to do that because realistically, March 22nd is my wife's due February 13th, so that's definitely kind of pushing it. But like I said, for the risk is worth the reward for fighting Leon. But if I don't get that, Miami in April would definitely be a little bit better.
Okay, and so all right, so let's say you get the Leon fight. You know, I agree with your assessment. That's such a big deal, such a big opportunity. You beat the former champion. You're right there. Let's say the cookie doesn't crumble that way and they put you on that April card. Who does make sense for you in April?
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at the rankings, I know Jack was supposed to be fighting in February. I'm hearing, obviously, from you and other people that might not be happening. So if he needed more time, maybe April. Me and him were supposed to fight back in 2023. I had a staph infection, and then unfortunately for him, after he fought Gilbert, my man got a staph infection as well, and he's been out ever since. So that could be a fight that could be rebooked. I know people are saying Usman's name. I'm just a huge fan of Usman. I would like to test myself against him. So yeah, there's definitely people out there, but I think I deserve somebody in that top 5 area.
Couldn't agree more. You've 100% earned that and deserved that. Curious, Joaquin Buckley just comes off the big win over Colby Covington. Is that a name you're interested in?
Yeah, I mean, if that's something they offered me, he's number 6 now. I mean, he's had arguably one of the best years in the division. He was 4-0. So yeah, he has a huge name, and now him beating Wonder Boy, him beating Colby, he's definitely earned his spot. So if it's none of those other guys, then 100%. That's I really want to fight in January before the baby got here, but nothing came up. So whatever they offer me in that that April timeframe, I'll be saying yeah, as long as it makes sense.
What did you think of his win and his performance against Colby?
He looked good. Everyone was kind of trying to say Colby didn't look his best, but I thought Joaquin looked good. He looked strong. Colby scored a takedown, couldn't really do too much with it, but yeah, he's a problem for 170, and I'm sure we're going to run into each other sooner than later.
What do you think of the stoppage?
The cut was bad, and I was talking to Joe Pfeiffer yesterday. We were doing our podcast, and he got punched in his eye when he fought Jack Hermanson. So we all know, you get poked, you get anything that touches your eye. People weren't thinking about the cut, the blood leaking into his face. Like, you can't see, and once your vision's compromised, and he was kind of getting pieced up already. I kind of agree with the stoppage. I know Chael said he was going to stop it. I really don't. You don't know if Chael is telling the truth or not, but yeah. So I think it was a good stoppage. He maybe could have got something going, but I just didn't see that it was going that way.
So what a fascinating time at 170, because just the week prior we had the Shavkat Rakhmonov against Ian Machado Gary fight.
Yeah.
What did you think of that fight, and did it play out the way you thought it was going to play out?
It didn't play out the way I thought. I actually thought Shavkat was going to blow through Ian. I thought he was going to take him down and submit him, but props to Ian. I know I haven't been the biggest fan of Ian. He did really good. The first 2 rounds weren't really that exciting, but at one point he hits a reversal on Shavkat, has Shavkat's back, has that choke almost locked in, and he lost the fight, but his stock went up. So yeah, he's another guy, but I know, I've been trying to fight Ian for a long time, but I'm hearing he's not coming back till the summertime. He's taking some time off, which he deserves to do. But I think people are going to look at Bilal and Shavkat now and think that Bilal has a better chance than what they were thinking before, which I think Bilal, I was saying it before this fight even happened, I think Bilal stacks up good against Shavkat.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so you like his chances now, and did your opinion change after watching that fight?
My opinion just got more validated that I thought Bilal could do kind of what he did to Leon. Shavkat's definitely a really good grappler, but I don't think he's the best wrestler, and we kind of seen that in the Ian fight. It took him 2 rounds to realize that he had to drop down for double legs to get Ian down, and then when he was going for some takedowns, Ian was reversing him. So yeah, I think Bilal will stack up well against Shavkat.
And so you did mention that you've been wanting to fight Ian for quite some time, and you would know if he's taking a bit of time off because you share the same manager. And so after you beat Gilbert, you went on the microphone and you said, give me Ian in so many words.
Yeah.
Was there ever any discussion surrounding that? Was it ever a real thing?
So I was trying, like I said, in January, that's what I was trying to get. They were trying to get us to fight maybe in December. Nothing was ever offered because obviously he was talking about being the main event for Tampa. But yeah, there's never anything offered, and so I don't know. I don't know what's going on, to be honest.
Do you know if he's interested? Like, you could kind of get the inside scoop, right? I mean,
I don't know. Like, I think he's. I'm not saying like I am a hard or tough fight for Ian, but I think I am. I don't know what he thinks, but yeah, it just seems like every time we talk, he doesn't really say my name. But yeah, nothing. Like I said, I've been crucial and hard on Ian in the past, but I think he looked really good against Shavkat, and he definitely earned my respect in that fight.
So, like I said, so much has happened in the last couple weeks, especially in this weight class. September, your fight feels like, generations ago now.
Yeah.
And you add to the fact that, there's some colorful characters at the top of the division, and, you're kind of a mild-mannered guy. You don't talk a lot of smack. You kind of went out of your shell a little bit after that Gilbert win. Do you feel like now in 2025, because you're so close, you have to ramp things up a bit?
Yeah, a little bit. I think you have to always do that, but I'm never going to go completely away from who I am, if I have to go out of character a little bit, I will, but it's kind of work for me doing what I do. I just like to train. I want to fight the best guys in the division. One thing for me is last year, I wanted to be more active. I wanted to fight in April. I didn't get to fight till September. So this is a year I really want to get something in early in the year because I want to realistically fight at least 3 times. I would love to fight 3 times. Realistically, it's going to be closer to 2. So, yeah, whatever's going to get me fights and just get me active, that's what I'm willing to do. But I think me and Leon in March would be honestly perfect. Because if you look at the division, there's no one, most of these guys just fought or they're not fighting. I think me and Leon, I'm 5, he's number 1. I think it makes perfect sense.
That win over Gilbert was so great, and I thought your best performance, and you alluded to the fact that you're a much different fighter than the one who fought Bilal just a few fights ago. What is the difference, biggest difference, couple differences between this guy right here and the one from a couple years ago?
Just believing in myself, before I really wasn't believing in myself the way like my team, my family, my teammates see me. And now I know I'm one of the best fighters in the world, if not the best fighter in the world. And it was just that missing piece of me believing in it and just knowing that I can go out there and beat these guys and compete with these guys and I deserve to be here. Going to Abu Dhabi, fighting Bilal and losing was the best thing that ever happened to me because it made me change a lot of things around me. Made me get rid of some people that I didn't really need in my life. And yeah, it definitely made me the best fighter and more importantly, the best person I could be.
When you saw him beat Leon and become champion, considering that you fought him and that he's your only loss in the UFC, how did that make you feel?
Just reassured me that I deserve to be here and that I can compete with these guys. So I know in my mind, even looking back at that fight, I was doing really well until I wasn't, until I kind of, things weren't going my way and I kind of quit on myself, and that would never happen again. So I know that it's going to be cool building this story up to whenever I do rematch Bilal, because I know it will happen and I respect Bilal. Whether he's a champion or he loses and I fight him for a number 1 contender, I know we're going to fight again. And I know I'll win that fight.
Does that one gnaw at you? Like, do you feel like that's the one that if you never get back, you'll be old and gray and you'll just kind of like fixate over it?
If you asked me after the fight, it definitely would have. But it took me a long time to really just sit with myself and get over that. And now, if it never happens, I'm completely fine with it. But me as a competitor, I would love to get it back. But if he wins, beats Shavkat, and decides to retire, and we never fight, then he he's good in my book. But if I get the chance to get it back, I'm definitely gonna get it back in blood for sure.
Are you grappling on December 28th?
Yes, I am.
Okay, that's on the Fury grappling card, right?
Yeah. Fury. Yep. At the 2300 arena in my backyard. So yeah,
there it is.
It's a little. My man, he's a little bit bigger than me, but it's gonna be fun.
How much bigger?
So I walk around like 194. The day I accepted the match, I was 194. He said they were telling me he can't get lower than 205. So 205, I took it, and but it's just jiu-jitsu. I grapple every day. We do way harder stuff in the gym, so it would just be fun for me to go out there, compete. My teammate Jonathan is part owner of Fury and the matchmaker, so yeah, I get to support those guys. I came up with Cage Fury. I was a champion for them. So yeah, a couple of my teammates are on the card too. So it's going to be fun.
When you sign up for one of those, like, do you actually go into a quote unquote training camp, or is it just like your regular training? And oh, by the way, on this date, I'm competing.
Yeah, I mean, it's an 8-minute grappling match, so like I'll just sprinkle in a little bit more straight jiu-jitsu work. Like tonight I'll go and I have jiu-jitsu at my spot with the guys from Movement Art. They're black belts under Mikey Musumeci. So these guys are wizards on the ground. So I'll get with them, we'll work on some stuff, but yeah, it's just adding, like I'll still go spar tomorrow because we have guys fighting and just adding a little bit more grappling here and there, but nothing too much.
And that's no-gi, right?
Yeah. I did all the way until I got my black belt. I did the gi. I did the gi for like 10 years. I haven't done it in a while. I'll pick it back up when I'm done. But yeah, it's the gis. I like the gi, but it's a little bit slower pace. Like for me, like who's someone who's explosive and strong, it kind of slows me down. So when I'm done fighting, I'll pick it back up.
And what about the OG, Eddie Alvarez, returning to Philly, BKFC,
Yeah.
Jeremy Stevens,
Yeah.
January 25th. Will you be attending? Are you into it?
Yeah. Oh, I'm super excited to go. I went to his grand opening at the gym.
Oh, yeah.
I was just hitting him up earlier for some stock advice because Eddie's well diversed in the
Yes,
the money
yes.
game.
Yes.
But yeah, we have a couple guys that might actually be fighting on that card from our team. So I might actually be cornering that night. And if I'm not cornering, I'm going to be there front and center. I've never been to a bare knuckle, but I'm super excited, and especially to see Eddie, whether it's his last fight or it's not, for him to go fight at Wells Fargo and end this crazy journey that he's been on. It's going to be amazing to see. And Eddie, like I said, a lot of people know he got me signed to the UFC. He called Dana for me and made it happen. So anything I can do to support him, I'll be there cheering for him. And him and Jeremy Stevens is going to be an amazing fight. So yeah, anytime Eddie's fighting, I'm tuning in.
What do you think of bare knuckle? Do you watch it? Do you like it?
I'm not going to say I'm like huge into it, but I am very interested in it now. Like I watched Perry versus Rockhold. I watched Eddie versus Chad Mendez. I watched Eddie versus who's his last one? I've watched Eddie versus Perry. So yeah, I'm definitely into it.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you don't actually train with Eddie these days, right?
No. So during the pandemic, me and Eddie started training together, and when he was still fighting in one, and then I think he kind of stopped. Like he was kind of almost not done with one, but he was getting more into the bare knuckle, and now he opened up his own gym. So his gym is about 30 minutes away from where I live, and it's about an hour from our gym, Marquez MMA. That's more in the city. So we don't train together anymore. But if he ever did do another MMA fight, I know he would come down with us, or we would go up there and help him out.
By the way, your camera went off on your phone or device. So we hear you, but we don't see you anymore. So I don't want you to be alarmed if you look at this.
Am I back?
I don't know. Is he back, guys?
He's not.
You're not back, but we hear you, and we have a graphic that says you're on. But for some reason, like all of a sudden, your camera just shut off.
It's working
I
now.
think
Oh wait,
I can see you. We're back.
is he back?
Thumbs up.
Okay.
Thumbs up.
Oh,
We're
there
back.
he is. He's back.
The boys in the back said we're good.
Yeah, that's right.
Boys in the back.
I love it. I love it. One of these days, you have to come visit and see the new
100%.
digs.
We got to do the bike challenge.
Oh my God, you are a real fan. Oh my God, you'll smoke those jabronis.
I'm a fan.
I appreciate it. By the way, 2300 Arena, like that's the, excuse me, that's like the legendary ECW arena. Did you ever go to those back in the day, or you're a little too young for that?
So I've never been to those, but I fought amateur there. I fought on cards with Paul Felder there. I defended belts, won belts at that arena. So I've grappled there. So yeah, I got a good history with 2300.
That is I've never actually been there, but obviously I've seen all the docs and the stories.
Yeah.
Legendary,
it's cool.
legendary spot.
And then we got Eddie right down the road coming up at the Wells Fargo. We had Boots fight there a few times. So hopefully they come back to Philly eventually, and I'll get the fight there, but who knows?
Oh yeah, Boots, the two fights there. I won't bring up Knicks beating the Sixers in the playoffs, or Josh Allen going to beat out Saquon for MVP.
How about them birds though?
Well, how about them? Our quarterback is going to be the MVP. You know that. You have to admit he is the MVP. Yes.
He's the MVP.
Ah, that's right. I appreciate that.
I was just my strength coach is Lane Johnson's strength coach. So I had practice this morning, and then I was just lifting weights at Lane Johnson's house. So yeah, we're pretty tied in with the birds around here.
I appreciate that. Very nice win over Pittsburgh. That actually helped us out. So thank you very much. But maybe we'll see you in New Orleans. I just want one, Sean. You got your one a couple of years ago. I just want one. That's all I want.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can understand.
Listen, we need another one.
Oh, now you're being greedy.
We've been hurting for a little bit.
Fair enough.
We've been hurting for a little bit.
Thanks.
I'm going to bring something back soon. I just gotta get a fight first.
That would be sick. Yeah, 22.
Yeah.
This time next year, where are you at? December 25.
If I'm not champion, I'm fighting for the belt very soon. I think if I go out here and if I get the Leon fight, I think my next fight would be for the belt. If not, I'd fight one of these other guys and then maybe one or two more, and then I'll be fighting for the belt. End of 2025, early 2026.
I love it. Good luck to you. Happy holidays to you and the family.
Yeah.
Good luck, obviously, with the big arrival coming up in a couple months. And I hope you get that Leon fight. I'd love to see it.
Yes. Thank you so much, Ariel. Have a good one.
You too. There he is, the great Sean Brady, the pride of Philadelphia, the Illadelph, as some like to call it. 2300 Arena. I'd love to visit that spot one day. It's sort of like their version of Hammerstein Ballroom, if you're familiar with that venue. You know, the place that Flat Earth Frotch couldn't sell 6 tickets. Well, what was that, Frank?
Didn't you say something about it yesterday? Isn't that where Saturday night's main event was? What's it called?
No. As a matter of fact, I said it was at Nassau Coliseum on Long Island.
Those aren't the same thing?
No. Hammerstein Ballroom is actually like right here, 34th Street, in the heart of Manhattan. Nassau Coliseum is on Long Island, the original home of the New York Islanders. And it is still around. I think it's owned by the same company that owns the Barclays Center because it looks very much like the Barclays Center. It's sort of like a mini version. But now, of course, there's the UBS Arena on Long Island, which is the place that everyone goes to. And so I thought it was a nice nod that WWE went back to the original home, the first place to hold a SNME event. I thought that was a nice touch, but no, nothing to do with the 2300 Arena. 2300 Arena was the ECW Arena back in the day.
Oh, Extreme.
Yeah, Championship Wrestling.
Yeah, ECW. I remember seeing those in the old video store. Had the like gnarly covers on them.
Paul Heyman.
Yeah,
my guy.
Shout out. Have you been to UBS?
I haven't, but I think Rick has been. Have you been?
I went. That's where.
Oh, really?
We saw UFC.
The UFC was there.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I've been to a couple concerts
Ortega
there.
Yair, right?
If it didn't take 3 years to get there, I think it's a pretty.
Is it beautiful?
It's beautiful, but man,
so far
it is quite the trek.
We're just chit chatting it up, blowing by the fact that Sean Brady's locked in on the average.
I know. I was literally about to get to this before Frank.
Come on now.
He's into the bike challenge.
He's listening.
He knows
to
about
all
the boys in the
combos.
back.
Oh, that's to my
he's
heart.
Up there.
Straight to my heart.
Nah, he's
Sean
the
Brady.
man.
Also, just the nicest human. Like just texting with him, getting him ready. Like
he's the man. He's the freaking man.
Sean Brady.
I wish they were all Sean Brady. Honestly,
the
pleasure to deal with.
The admiration, the respect is just continuing to climb.
He's on the list. By the way, I would pay good money for a Sean Brady versus Rick versus GC bike challenge.
Yeah, you know what? I'm confident against GC. I'm gonna opt out of that. I'm gonna politely decline to take on Sean Brady on the bike.
That would be the closest to a 10-7 in a bike challenge.
I'm not even getting in there. I quit.
Oh, you're out.
I quit.
You waved the white flag.
I'm resigning.
GC, you think you could take Sean?
GC's
I think I could.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I was wondering why he wasn't chiming in because it felt like a time for him to chime in. Where is he? Is he taking a nap?
He's on his way to UBS.
Predisposed. He's
okay. All right. Well, there you go.
We'll let him know that Sean Brady had some very nice things.
He missed all of that?
No, he's popping in and out.
He's been gone for 30 minutes?
No. It's staying.
Has he quit?
Maybe produce you from the chair.
Is he done?
No.
Maybe Sean Brady could be the new boy in the back.
Shout out. He sounds like he's got a great thing going with Joe Pyfer though. I have to admit, I'm gonna lock in now. I have not seen it, but those two personality-wise, I feel like couldn't be more different, and that's actually like kind of a great pairing.
And they sound so much like Eddie.
I mean, the Philly,
Foyt. They say Foyt. They say Foyt.
No, that's not.
Yes.
It's like the warder. It's like with the R in there, the warder. Foyt sounds like Irish. Pete, back me up. That's like.
Pete's here?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Oh, there he is.
No.
Sean Brady is Irish though. Sean Brady's Irish.
No, but
we didn't get to that today.
He's of
He's growing
Irish
up around
descent.
Irish accents.
No,
I think he's.
studying.
When I interviewed him, I believe one of his parents is Irish. So I mean, you're in for me.
Okay.
As long as that's the
We
criteria.
count it.
Yeah, absolutely. He makes a compelling case as well. I mean, I like that fight with Leon. Isn't it funny that I feel like maybe 18 months ago we kind of had all these guys highlighted: Della Maddalena, Gary, Shavkat, and Brady, and now they've all arrived at title contention at the same time, seemingly. Really, really injected a lot of energy into this division, I think, and it really needed it as well.
Yes.
I think for a long time we were going back over Jorge Masvidal, Usman, Colby for so long. I think this is a really exciting time for the division, to be honest.
It's so great because they now have opponents that are not those same names to fight. It's not like those names are still in there, right? We're seeing Colby. We just saw him fight Buckley, but now they have people who are not Usman versus Covington versus Edwards. Like it's not the same rotation of versus Masvidal. Now we got some fresh blood. It's incredible and could not have come at a better time.
I agree. Weird scenes though yesterday. Gilbert in jail. What? Brought back some bad memories. I'll tell you that much. Bizarre stuff.
What fortuitous timing, eh? Because the circumstances, the gentleman was on the show.
Yeah, I know, but that's just like that's a bridge too far.
I think he finally deleted the tweet.
Golly! Oh, welcome back. Welcome back. We were talking about you.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
I was wondering if you thought that you could beat Sean Brady in a bike race.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm willing to go.
Did you hear that part, or you have no idea what I'm talking about?
No, I have no idea.
Okay. He's casually mentioning the Averon race between you and Rick. I mean, he's like an Uber fan. Is everything okay back there? What are you trying to say?
Good.
You're speaking.
I'm all good now.
Did you have an appointment? Did you have to take a call?
No appointments. Yeah, take a call.
Bathroom break?
Everyone stop chatting shit.
Taking a call turned into a quick bathroom break. I was like, well, I'm out. I might as well not.
You might as well go for a walk.
Sean Brady.
Wegmans. Anyway, he referenced the race, and we were wondering if you versus Brady would be a fair race.
Yeah, Burks versus Brady. I'm down
on the bike. You think because Rick actually waved the white flag and said he wants no part of Brady.
Oh, I want all the parts.
Oh, you want all the
something to train for?
Oh,
yeah.
this is okay. All right.
Man.
I knew GC would think he would smoke him. When you were saying this, I was like, GC will absolutely want that challenge.
Listen, man, everybody who wants to eat, few will hunt.
Who's going to carry the boats?
Print the merch.
We got it.
Actually, that is Brady's merch.
Oh my God, is that true?
Yeah,
oh my God,
it's so good. Yeah.
That is amazing.
You will hunt.
All right.
By the way, we got to get some Brady merch. He's
hell yeah,
big up.
And the YouTube channel, by the way, is Steady Picks. If you type in Steady Picks on the YouTube search engine thingy, it's him and Joe Pyfer.
And he's got the Brady Bags.
Oh yeah,
podcast as well.
There you go.
Yeah, they're killing it. But yeah, whenever he wants the bike action, I see videos of him and Joe Pyfer on the assault bikes, the air bikes at the gym. I think he set a record at the UFC PI for the air bike.
And this is the part where you say yes, you want that smoke. Okay,
I need a training camp. I need a training camp before this. I'm not getting on right now.
Oh, he just texted. No, I'm just kidding.
Give me a training camp and we can do this.
He may not get Leon Edwards, but
he might get.
He will get Burks on the bike.
Almost as big. Earlier today, PT, we had the great Adam Smith on, the voice of Sky Sports Boxing for so many years. He was joining us from the Grand Arrivals. I mentioned that you would know a thing. Like, we had Lampley, you had Adam Smith, right?
Yeah, he's a legend. And like, you're talking about the PFL. Like, for a guy who'd never really done anything with MMA before, like, go back and listen to his first MMA outing. It was so good. It was unbelievable. I remember texting you during it going, like, this guy feels like he's been here his whole life. And he elevated everyone around him, too. Dan Hardy and him were bouncing off each other so well. He is truly a class act. And I love that bit of on the ground reporting there. He
gave
us
wonderful.
The background of the background, although the sound did get messed up, but fantastic. What a pro.
They're doing it big. In fact, the Grand Arrivals in Riyadh are underway right now. Fury and Usyk have made their appearance. And check out these scenes, guys. Those planes are the Saudi airline flights, if you will. And there's the great Tyson Fury, the Gypsy King, coming down. I mean, they literally spare no expense. We've seen some crazy Grand Arrivals. The Vegas ones there, Spencer Brown by his side. But this one seems like quite the scene. And look at Papa Noel, Tyson Fury, big beard and all. I quite enjoy it. I like the look. Look at him. He seems quite svelte. He appears to be in great spirits. He mentioned yesterday, I like that look. He mentioned, he looks wise. He looks wise. There he is hugging Turki Al-Sheikh. Look at that beard. He mentioned yesterday in interviews he has not talked to his wife, Paris, for 3 months. No interaction, no texting, no phone calls, no nothing for 3 months. Yeah, I mean that is locked in right there.
Also, he's looking good for the bald beard brand, man.
He looks fantastic. I like that it's longer. It's a little curly. You know what he looks like? He looks like a hockey player in June after not shaving the beard. That's a thing in playoff hockey. You don't shave your beard. You don't shave your face for 2+ months. That's what he looks like right there.
Beard a bit unkempt, head.
I like that.
Perfect.
Shaved. I like
There's
that.
Not a single hair.
Yeah, no, he couldn't do that because then who knows what's going on up there? Then he just looks a little bit disheveled. I like that look. That's Tyson Fury walking out. Oleksandr Usyk, of course.
Like that look.
The champ. Oh, look at this guy.
Does anyone dress better in boxing than Oleksandr Usyk? It's just unbelievable.
Look at this.
God, he looks good.
He looks regal.
I'm pretty sure Prince wore that to the Grammys in the 80s.
This is unbelievable, man. The long coat with the fur over the shoulder.
He's a superstar, and he's quite self-deprecating as well. There he is with Turkey. Look at that. He
good for the bald brand, I have to say. Yeah. The bald brand is big today.
I like the stash. Last time he had nothing. He had no facial hair.
Great.
The stash is great. Talk about aura. That man has aura, right? Oleksandr Usyk, the pride of Ukraine. Another fun one, Johnny Fisher. Of course, we love his dad and the the chicken the Rumford Bull all business.
Is that his first time on steps or what's going on?
Yeah, I was gonna say he's struggling with the steps.
This was actually the test. This was the preview.
Come on, Johnny.
What's the deal here? Did they all fly in on the plane together, or did they all go climb up the plane and then they came back down?
That flight landed and they all just hopped off.
There's actually footage of Fury walking up the steps into the plane and then walking out.
I was gonna say,
did you see?
If they took the same flight in?
Steps are on the other side.
I think the steps are on the other side.
Whatever. It's good fun, and I would love to ask Johnny Fisher, if it was me, it'd just be like, please don't trip. Please do not trip. I feel like that's what's going on in his mind right there. Please.
Definitely looked like it.
One at a time.
Can you imagine
right foot
on those?
Let's see that again. I mean, look at the technique from Johnny Fisher. I mean, right foot.
He's counting in his head.
Left foot. 1, 2. 1, 2. There we go. Slowly.
Very first step, he looked really nervous.
We've been here before. His
hips don't lie. It feels like they're floating different, separate to his legs.
We've done this before.
He
quick little shadow box.
Confidence at the end.
I love Johnny Fisher.
You're doing it.
He's great fun. Johnny Fisher. And so it is a fun scene and it is a fun card and everyone is buzzing. And of course at 5 Eastern on the DAZN Boxing channel, we'll be joined by Ariel Helwani for the Ariel and Ade show. And we'll talk much more about that card. Speaking of everyone buzzing, like I said, we wake up this morning to a series of tweets from Conor McGregor. And there's a whole bunch of stuff obviously pertaining to the trial that just wrapped up a couple of weeks ago. But there is some fight news, if you will. And so I want to talk about this now, and I want to try to tell you everything that I know about the situation. A quick check. Sent out a couple of messages. Okay, I feel like we are... All right, I feel like we are up to speed here. All right, so it all kicks off with this tweet from Conor McGregor at 4:08 a.m. Eastern Time. That's 9:08 in Jeddah. The rumors of a bout with Topuria are false. I believe he's referring to Ilia Topuria. I am in preliminary agreements with the Ambani family to face Logan Paul in a boxing exhibition in India. I have agreed. I will then seek my return to the octagon. Shortly thereafter, we got a tweet from Ilia Topuria saying, the rumors of a bout with McChicken are false. I don't fight, nor am I interested in fighting with a rapist. That was at 8:21 a.m. Eastern Time. Subsequently, like I said, Conor McGregor tweeting a whole host of things. He had some more tweets. I was found liable for assault and guilty of nothing. I will be pursuing all defamatory writings about me. I am in amazing spirits. God has chosen me and I accept. I thank you to all those who have looked at this impartially and are supporting me in my fight for justice. The truth shall prevail as God as my witness. That was in the midst of all of this. There's some other tweets from Conor McGregor. I don't know. I think that was it that we pulled from the series of tweets. And so everyone's like, okay, what is going on here? Where I started to feel like there was some validity and something up was when we then saw this tweet from Jake Paul. Not Logan Paul, by the way, who he was talking about, Jake Paul. Now it all makes sense why Conor McGregor and his management team have been desperately trying to get MVP to negotiate for a fight between us. As we told them privately, and I'm now saying publicly, the only way we're willing to explore me versus Conor in a pro boxing / MMA fight is if Dana White / UFC are at the table directly or make it clear they are okay with discussions. Conor is washed, needs the polls, Logan buy however he wants. All right, so in the middle of that little tweet sandwich, there's that really important part. As we told them privately and now I'm saying publicly, the only way we're willing to explore me versus Conor in a pro box fight is if the UFC is involved, essentially. And at the top of that, he says, now it all makes sense. What? And so what I'm hearing is what he is saying, there's validity there from his perspective. Then I start to dig in, and what I'm hearing is there's validity to what Conor is saying as well. Does it actually happen in 2025? Who knows? Can it happen? We'll find out. Is there truth to this? Yes, this is a real thing. Now, when I say this is a real thing, let's be very clear. I'm not saying this is a real thing, it's a done deal. I'm saying he's just not, like, this isn't him trolling or pulling this out of his back pocket. It's a real thing that is being discussed. Now, we take it one step further. This family that he is speaking about, we pulled some stats because maybe you don't know who he's talking about or what he's talking about. GC did a great job of pulling some stats. This is the Ambani family. The legacy, if you will, started with, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing the names, Dhirubhai Ambani, founded Reliance Industries. Reliance Industries is an Indian multinational conglomerate headquartered in Mumbai. Its businesses include energy, petrochemicals, natural gas, retail, entertainment, telecommunications, mass media, and textiles. Reliance is the largest public company in India by market capitalization and revenue and the 100th largest company worldwide. Mukesh Ambani, his son, is now the president of Reliance Industries, who has a net worth of 96 billion with a B. Anil Ambani is the brother of Mukesh, who has a net worth of 30 million, once had a net worth of approximately 50 billion, but it has gone down. They are ranked by Forbes as the richest family in Asia. So this is a real family with obviously an infinite amount of funds to their name. They could certainly pull off something like this. So now you may be asking yourself, okay, how is this possible? How can Logan Paul compete against Conor McGregor in a boxing match? Logan Paul is a WWE competitor. Yes, he did do the Misfits fight. Conor McGregor is a UFC fighter. Well, then you quickly come to the realization that the parent company of WWE and UFC is TKO. So they're all under the same umbrella. Very easy to get done. That's a thing that I don't think would be a hurdle. It's not like trying to do Mayweather-McGregor. There were a ton of hurdles in trying to make that happen. Mayweather-McGregor was a thing that ended up happening, but it took a hell of a long time to get there, and the main stumbling block, if you will, was UFC and Showtime coming together. There isn't really any of that here. They're literally the same company for all intents and purposes. On Saturday, at the post-fight press conference in Tampa, Dana White alluded to the fact that he had something in the works, something big up his sleeve for 2025. In case you missed it, here's what Dana White said.
I anticipate a lot of big fights. I got something in the works right now. I'll drive you fuckers crazy. All you guys will be running around. I got something in the works that you will never fucking see coming for 2025. That literally started to come together last night. And yeah, we got some fun stuff coming up.
Was Dana White alluding to that fight? No idea. I have not talked to Dana, believe it or not, as of this morning. Maybe we'll talk later today. But I do not know. This would certainly qualify as something kind of out of left field that people would get worked up over. And so that's where things stand. Oh, by the way, Logan Paul reacting on social media with this. Some eyes on his Instagram, his story. By the way, he did that. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Nice little background. I guess he has a good team behind it. But there you go. He's reacting to it as well. Reached out to some more parties, and as of now, everyone is quite tight-lipped. But I can tell you that there is validity here. Does it end up happening? Does it come to fruition? This isn't just a thing that is pulled out of nowhere on a Tuesday morning. And the Jake stuff is interesting as well. Could that happen with his deal with PFL? You know, they're both under the ESPN umbrella, if you will, different than the TKO umbrella, but they have the same broadcast partners. Certainly that doesn't mean that the fight is like a fait accompli. Look at Francis and John, but that's an interesting one. And also, like, the world where both guys, this happened with the Nate Diaz fight, are kind of, I don't want to say in the sweepstakes for the same guy, only leads me to think that one day they're going to fight, the brothers. I mean, if I'm Jacob, say, like, oh, wait a second, y'all reached out about this, and now you're going in that direction. Who knows? And then his tweet, you know, who knows how Logan feels about it. There's so much there. But ultimately, as we sit here on this Tuesday, December 17th, there is something to this. And so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it with everyone. Rick, I go to you first. Your reaction, your level of interest in this.
I just don't know. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'll be honest. Like, I'll say, I'm skeptical that a Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor fight could happen, because I don't think that requires, as Jake laid out, the UFC sign off. And I just don't see a world where Dana White and the UFC are going, yes, we're going to contribute to the business of Jake Paul by creating this mega event with Conor McGregor. Now, maybe there's just so much money on the line that the money talks. But I do feel like a Logan Paul, Conor McGregor thing, as long as it's signed off by the UFC and they're partnered with whoever is representing the money in this case, and it sounds like quite a bit of money, I could see it happening. But if it does feel, I'll tell you this, Dana White said something about pulling something out of left field. Everybody's going to be running around going crazy. This would definitely be one of those. On the heels of the news about Conor McGregor and this civil trial, it'd be weird if all of a sudden he was thrown into a boxing match right off that bat. But I mean, at this point, I don't even know. I don't know. I have no idea what's happening.
PT, your reaction. And obviously this is developing, and who knows if it comes to fruition, but as it stands right now, based on everything I just said.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a real thing at all until you hit me with the intel there. I think it's effectively the end of his MMA career if he does have that fight. You know, I think that's the reality of the situation. Like,
why do you feel that way? Because in the tweet he says, "I'll do this and then I'll come back." Why do you think 1 + 1 = 2 in this case?
Well, what happened last time he had a big boxing fight for a lot of money? Mm-hmm. It resulted in the downturn of his career completely. And I thought McGregor was generational. You know, absolutely unbelievable fighter. I don't think, you know, with the Alvarez fight, I think people got to see how good he could be to some extent, but I think he had a lot more to give. And I think the Mayweather fight sidetracked him. And every fight since then, we've heard from his camp in the aftermath, oh, the camp wasn't right, this went wrong, this went wrong. I think just his wealth has a lot to do with that as well. I'm not particularly excited about the fight. I understand it would be an absolutely huge fight. I understand there'd be a lot of like gargantuan money on the table, especially when you're given the information you gave about the family that he cited in his tweet. But my level of interest, not really that excited. I think it would be a huge event, though. I think it would be like a KSI v Jake Paul situation where these two guys are so incredibly famous. it would generate a huge audience.
It would. Who knows if it would be Tyson, Jake Paul levels, but it would be one of those events that everyone will ask us about and talk about, and that crossover. Who knows where it would air? And
that's the thing. The Netflix component is what made Tyson and Jake Paul so massive. Yeah. If this is just ESPN Plus or ESPN or whatever, or maybe some different broadcast.
Well, there would have to be an international component, right? Because it's India.
Yeah, beyond the U.S., who knows what it would ultimately be? But without Netflix, I wonder if it could encroach that. It would definitely be massive, though. Like the names of all, Conor McGregor and Logan Paul are two of the biggest names that we have in this industry. So the combination of the two would be massive.
GC, your thoughts?
Yeah, just like waking up and reading that tweet, it's pretty wild. Like we're talking about this billionaire family in India, Conor McGregor not coming back to MMA, he's going to boxing, and he's not fighting Jake Paul, he's fighting Logan Paul, and the fight's going to take place in India. It's kind of a lot to process, and it's sort of like I guess I'll believe it when I see it. Like we've obviously heard of a lot of like potential fights for McGregor over the last couple of years. So until something gets really serious, I'm not going to get too overly excited about it, but it is kind of interesting how this lines up with what Dana said on Saturday of like, yeah, I got something that's just way out of left field that no one saw coming that just came across my desk. And obviously this family, if they're really in it, they've certainly got the money to make this happen. So if it happens, obviously I'll watch. It'll be massive. But for now, I'm cautiously optimistic on it actually happening.
Is your sense, Ariel, that the UFC is aware of this and this is the direction, or is your sense that the Conor McGregor side is aware of this and this is real?
I don't think that he is
just going out
I don't think he's being a renegade here. Yeah. Now, again, I don't know if Dana was alluding to this, but you think about it from this perspective. Okay, so they make a ton of money when Conor fights, right?
Yep.
And if this family comes and offers them triple that, and just says, we are literally going to pay TKO triple this to take this guy and bring him to India, and we'll make a big to-do, and you guys have to do essentially nothing, right? Like, you don't have to do the production, you don't have to put on the show. We're going to do it all for you. And that's essentially what the deal was when he fought Mayweather.
I was going to say, that was the Mayweather.
That was the beauty of that deal. Yeah. Does TKO say no to that?
Well, here's why. This is what I said, why I don't think Jake Paul would make sense, right? Because does TKO, does Dana White, do the UFC go, yeah, let's do the business with Jake Paul and MVP, or Logan Paul outside that sphere, seemingly a good relationship with the UFC. Prime, I believe, sponsored, if they don't still sponsor with the UFC. It makes a lot more sense from a business perspective. Plus, you are not lending Conor McGregor and his star power to a rival promotion, somebody you have animosity toward in the case of Jake Paul.
Oh yeah, this is a lot easier.
It's such a lot
easier to make.
Yeah,
I will say though, the one that has the heat attached to it is Jake versus Conor, right? Remember that 100%. Video with Jake sitting, outside his car, and he had the massive cigar, and he was like saying some pretty, offensive things about
Conor's family.
Yeah, that's the one. Like, have Logan and Conor really had like a back and forth or any sort of history? I always sort of felt like there was a period where I was like, no way. Like at that point when he did that video, I was like, hey, Jake's picking a fight, but there's no way he'll ever get to this point. And then slowly but surely the gap started to, get closer, where I'm quite certain in the last year I've said, like, remember on the show, I was saying, like, we are getting closer to this becoming a reality. Jake versus Conor. It was never really Conor versus Logan. And maybe we are reaching a point where it's Jake versus Conor, and then it's, Logan versus Conor, and then Jake versus Conor, and then and then Conor versus KSI, who he said, what was it about the box of eggs?
Then we're agreeing with me. Then it's over. MMA is over if he goes down this road.
Maybe this is the road, and maybe there's 2 fights left. And there's a big question there too.
Does
right?
that count as one of the fights?
Does this count as one of the fights? Interesting, right? Because oh God, I just thought of something. What if they come to an agreement? Because I've always said that I feel like they're kicking him down the road to be a part of these TV, negotiations.
Yeah.
What if the agreement is, hey, this doesn't count. We're going to get a boatload. We're both going to make money. We don't have to put up any money. This doesn't count, though, and that only delays the 2 fights. So now you're getting him for an extra fight. You're getting a boatload. There's no investment needed. There's no risk needed whatsoever, and you're delaying those 2 fights to back end of 25 and 26. I know a ton can happen there, but it seems like
to make all this money,
seems like a deal that you can't pass up on if you're the UFC.
McGregor feels about his chances against Logan Paul.
Yeah,
it feels like he thinks he'll walk right through him. So it's just like, man, I'm just going to make a ton of money to just box against this guy.
I don't like the exhibition part. Like if we're doing this, let's just do it.
Here's where my head is at.
Yeah.
You're opening a door, potentially. If I'm the UFC and I say I'm going to do this, if I'm Turkey, I'm now going, you've set a precedent here. You've decided that you're going to open your doors for business. If I'm Turkey, I now have the entry that I need to make a John Jones versus Francis Ngannou, a Tom Aspinall versus Francis Ngannou, under the banner of a different, let's say, call it Riyadh season event. Not UFC PFL co-promotion, but something where you are lending the talent to. You're now opening the door for that, right? If you are saying we are in business and not everything we do is going, because the UFC has been very good about managing this, right? The only thing, they allow the athletes to do some of these grappling matches, but the only thing that I can think of business-wise that they have had happen on their watch that is even remotely like this is Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather, which Conor McGregor kind of dragged them into. Let's call it what it is. Like he forced that by sheer will and star power. If you now open the door, to me that says, okay, there's a price. There is a price that we can be paid to do business. And what would be preventing somebody like Turkey or anybody from saying, okay, I want Francis Ngannou versus UFC heavyweight champion X to happen. To me, that opens the door for that. So it's potentially long-lasting, the effects of something like this.
Let me be 1,000% clear here. I don't think any of us are advocating for this. I don't think any of us are saying this is atop the wish list. So by us talking about it is not us endorsing it. Because I see some people in the chat being like, you guys are hypocrites. I'm out of here. I can't take this. Like, we didn't come up with this idea. We didn't say, hey, let's go on the show today and talk about a fight between Logan Paul and Conor McGregor. They're putting it out there. We're reacting to the news. And so it has to be reacted to because it involves still the biggest name in the sport and one of the biggest names in this sort of, I don't know, combat crazy world that we reside in.
I'm also not convinced it's going to happen.
Like 100%. All I'm saying is there's something to it. It's not just like...
It's not just Twitter fodder.
I'm fighting... Yeah. So, and by the way, I do want to remind everyone, back in 2017, every single person said there was no chance Mayweather-McGregor happens. Remember that. And so I remember doing that interview with him in Manchester, and this was right after the win over Eddie Alvarez, and I wanted to talk about, are you moving to 45 or 55 or this and that, and all he wanted to talk about was Mayweather. And I remember leaving that thing being like, that was kind of a bust because this is never going to happen. This is a waste of time. And then fast forward 8 months and it happened, and we all know what transpired. So I don't know. I'm not comparing the two, but I'm just saying there was once a time where we said that was never going to happen. Obviously, the circumstances are much different now in his life and in his career, and in combat sports, as Rick was alluding to, like we're now seeing very influential people get in and break all the norms. But I'm blown away that this is a thing. And then when you take a step back and you become unemotional about it, you're like, okay, there's a lot of pieces here that make sense as to why this could be a thing. Quite easily could be a thing. And so let's see. Obviously, there's a big weight discrepancy as well, right?
Yeah, that's fine. Mayweather.
But they got rid of that, and maybe that's why it has to be an exhibition.
Yeah.
Because Logan is about like 200 pounds.
Yeah, he's like
if not
6'2".
more, right?
Gigantic.
What does this do for the legitimacy of Conor McGregor's career at this point? If this is his next fight, if he doesn't pursue the UFC, if he's not pursuing top contenders as he said he would for so long, he's going to fight Logan Paul, a pro wrestler / influencer, a guy who's boxed twice, against Floyd Mayweather, a guy who's much shorter than him, and some influencer. I'm not too sure which one. What do you think what do you think people's reaction to that would be?
I think, well, by the way, as a quick aside, do you think they're going to bill it as like Conor trying to avenge Dylan's loss?
No,
I'm kidding.
They'd lose a lot of the market.
Yeah, like, I'm going to get him. I think it's... it's a weird one because you have the hardcore fan circle and then you have the casual fan circle. The casual fan circle will react to this being like, when is it? And I'll watch it. And I think the hardcore fan circle will have the sentiment that you have, which is like, is this the end? Truly, is this the end? Is there no Michael Chandler fight? Is there no return to the UFC? Is there no last go? Is there no nothing?
I would ask in counter to not in counter to that. In response to that, are there many believers of the Conor McGregor return to MMA at this point, right? When we saw the Michael Chandler fight announced, there were so many people who just didn't believe he was coming back anyway, right? Then Tough happens and they're like, okay, maybe. Then the fight is seemingly announced and the press conference is announced and all these things and people go, oh, wow, he is actually coming back. But I have seen so much doubt throughout the process. I'm not sure that this like hurts it because I'm not sure that people were starting from that position anyway. Like, I think there's a lot of skepticism, a lot of doubt. Now we have the legal part of this that is potentially in play. I don't know that people are anticipating anything from him. And so this is almost like whatever his next step is, even getting in there would be something that would solidify that in their minds. But that's, by the way, that is not to say I disagree with you in a certain sense that like it might cast a shadow on is he ever coming back to MMA specifically, but I think there's questions like is he coming back period that have been lingering and lingering and lingering. And so I don't think it dissuades that part. Like, I think it's still going to be there.
So let's see. So that's a story that I think we'll probably be talking about as time goes on. Speaking of Jake, by the way, the Nate Diaz stuff came up again. He did a roundtable before the Most Valuable Promotions event or a prospects event on Friday and talked about Nate Diaz, and then Nate responded to him. And it sort of kind of feels, there it is from Nate Diaz, signed the contract, scary and not in 12 months from now and in a shitty organization. It sounds like Nate still doesn't want to fight for PFL. I don't know if there's interest in Jake versus Nate in boxing. I still feel like there's interest in Jake versus Nate in MMA. I don't know if Jake is ever going to do MMA, and I don't know if he's ever going to do it in the PFL. But would you guys have any interest in this now, given where both their careers are at?
Maybe that's what Dana was talking about. Maybe that's what he's cooking up for 2025. Jake Paul in the UFC.
By the way, you laugh. You laugh. That's like Kimbo Slice showing up on Tough. Is it not?
I mean,
I'd be interested.
Yeah, do it. MMA.
I'd be more into that than I would be Logan Paul v. Conor McGregor in a boxing match in India.
Okay, what's the difference? What's the difference?
Well, I think Paul is
Jake Paul's actually a proper like he's actually trying to box. Like
I agree. Jake Paul is.
But I'm talking about MMA, not boxing.
Yeah, I'd love to see Jake Paul give a go at MMA.
Yeah,
against an accomplished.
I don't have any interest in Jake versus Nate 2 in boxing.
No.
No more boxing.
But I've always wanted
it's a complete freak show. Let's be honest. No, just to clear the record in case we have more people leaving the chat. It's a complete freak show as well. But it's more, I don't know, palatable for me.
What is the resistance to everybody admitting like Jake Paul is a legitimate fighter?
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
I get the thing. Like, you can question his level of competition. You can question his selection of opponents. By the way, I'd argue that's kind of the standard in boxing. I'd also argue like we've come to a point that MMA is a lot more selective at this point. Jake Paul's a fighter. Like, I'm sorry to tell you Santa Claus isn't real at this point. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to see many Jake Paul boxing matches against legitimate boxers and Tommy Fury and all these guys. Like, boring to me. I don't give a shit about it. But Jake Paul is a fighter, whether you like it or not. Like, we just have to accept that reality. And so the idea of somebody who's primarily a boxer putting on these huge events, going into our sport of MMA, is interesting to me. I don't care.
I wish I could show Rick from 2 years ago.
I don't care.
You saying this?
We don't care. No,
because I sat through you explaining, oh, Jake's not a boxer.
No,
this is all bullshit.
I've been pretty consistent. I don't want to see Jake Paul's boxing career. I'm not interested in him chasing world titles. It's not going to happen. He's not as good as that, and I don't care about it. It's not fascinating to me. Jake Paul is a fighter, is a boxer, is an athlete, and is a massive draw in the sport. And him being in a UFC fight would be a continuation of that. It would be big. And if you can find him the right opponent, I think there's winnable fights for him in MMA as well. I'm sorry. He is a fighter. It just is what it is.
You go wash your tongue out. Wash your mouth.
Lost thousands of
They're all leaving
after that rant.
They're all
that was
leaving.
a complete tirade.
Next, we're gonna have a Carl Froch video with Rick's face and clown.
Gives a flying fuck about Carl Froch or what he's got.
Now,
to say.
Jake
Is
Paul
anybody
fights
really
Tommy.
interested?
That drop is so long.
That drop is so long. I
like
thought
that.
it was over. I started to talk.
I tried to shorten it.
If Jake Paul fights Tommy Fury, I'll never forgive him, though. We cannot do more Tommy Fury.
Oh gosh,
I'm done with that.
Yeah, that is a tough one.
That would be unforgivable.
That is actually tough. Dana White, obviously, there's a million things that he could have been talking about. Jones Aspinall, he did say 100%. We talked about that a little bit yesterday. Who knows if that is actually going to happen? And we'll weigh in when we do our prediction show. But he's got something up his sleeve, and then all of a sudden there's Conor. By the way, I hope Conor doesn't get banned for breaking the news.
We do have odds on the fight. Logan Paul minus 150.
Oh, Logan Paul minus 150.
Conor McGregor plus 120.
Wow. What do you think of that?
I would hammer that.
I don't know.
What?
The fight get made.
Oh, come on.
I'll bet it once the fight's made. I'm not betting it right now.
Okay, that's fair. But if
Lock
that,
up my money in purgatory of a fight that's never going to happen.
If that,
who would you bet on? Who are you slamming on?
Are you kidding me? Conor McGregor versus Logan Paul? I'd put
bet on Conor.
6 mortgages on Conor McGregor against Logan Paul. Come on. Let's be real.
Looked pretty good against Floyd.
No, he did not.
There's also a difference between 49-0 Floyd and Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what?
No,
and then
he's
also
saying Logan
exhibition,
looked good
can there even
against-
be a winner? Who knows? If
Well, that's the other thing. With some of these fights, they don't do like the real judgment things.
There wasn't a winner in Logan v Mayweather, wasn't there?
No, not
I guess that's
officially.
true. If this is an exhibition, why would it be an exhibition?
Everyone lost.
What are we
Everyone lost
protecting?
that night.
Protecting.
By the way, that one did like over 1 million buys on Showtime on a Sunday night.
It was horrific to watch.
I'm just saying.
I mean, McGregor.
No, it was horrific to watch, Ariel.
There's an audience. There's an audience. Whether it was horrific or not,
A very
people are
upset
paying.
audience, a very disappointed audience.
Yeah,
An audience that went, fucking, why did I pay
They
for
say
this?"
they're upset and they all watch.
Every line of that Conor tweet was just like a new, just like random thing unfolding. Not fighting Taporia. We didn't really think we didn't really think he was going to fight Taporia. I'm now fighting Logan Paul. We didn't see that one coming, and it's going to be in India.
Are we sure you even got the name right?
You think maybe he was referring to Jake?
Maybe. I mean, after the Taporio
Sure.
and they like off the wall commenting.
Nah, but now Logan's sharing it.
Yeah, Logan and Jake.
Logan with the eyes emojis, like this is the wrong.
No. By the way, Pizzi, Dana's comments about Jones Aspinall saying 100%. Shout out to Danny Segura for getting that. Does that make you feel better about the fight happening?
No.
You don't think it happens, Pizzi?
I'm not until those two lads are in the octagon.
Don't answer. Don't fully answer the question.
We're at that level of like not until the two lads are in the octagon.
This isn't my first rodeo.
I'm still there.
This is not my
I'm still
first
there.
rodeo.
Oh yeah, I'm still there.
So if we got like a graphic and like an
No, but if you're saying
Dana
on
White
a scale,
video.
what's more likely to happen? John Jones or Tom Aspinall or Conor McGregor v Logan Paul in a boxing match in India? I'm going with John Jones v Tom Aspinall.
So you're saying there's a
I
chance?
love
It's
all
gonna
the
be this.
qualifiers.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Conor McGregor, Logan Paul, boxing match, India.
What's
What
up,
is
everyone?
Ariel doing right
Everyone's
now?
been asking me about
Yeah.
the question.
Oh.
John Jones, you're talking. It is done. We got it done. It is done. It is done. Now, quickly, cut to the B-roll so I can read some stats. Tom Aspinall is 18-0. He is a great fighter and a grappler from the great country of England. Everyone's been talking about this fight. Everyone knows him. John Jones doesn't duck anyone. He told me himself. This fight is happening at Allegiant Stadium, International Fight Week. It's the biggest fight in heavyweight history. Forget about Randy Couture versus Brock Lesnar or anything akin to that. This is the one.
Yeah.
Cut to Tom Aspinall. I haven't signed my contract yet.
Allegiant Stadium. Is that some breaking news there?
Nah, that's just me.
I'm just making sure I'm in the
manifested
highlight reel when it does get announced, and he's doing. Just want to go back to all the dummies from the media who said I couldn't do this.
yeah.
And I'll be
No, it's happening. It's
We
happening.
need a single on Pizzi.
It's happening. It's
Yeah,
happening.
I know.
So they can add like the
best
weird
moments of my
lighting behind it.
We don't want that smoke.
Yeah.
We don't want our faces as.
It's like getting knighted when you end up on one of them videos. It's like winning the Pulitzer in this industry.
Rick
when you
made
get
it
one of them
last year.
videos, you made it. Yeah, me and Rick were back to back. It was amazing.
Or was that this year? Wasn't that about you?
Was that this year? I don't even know.
This
Yeah.
has
Oh
been a
wow,
long
it was
year.
this year.
It was,
It's
yeah.
been a long year.
Oh
Dude.
boy.
That was a great one.
Time
good one.
flies when you're having fun.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of great videos, did you guys see this video of the impersonator, the great Tony Lapidus? He was on social media, and he's done this time and again. He was impersonating me interviewing Tyson Fury. Perhaps this is the closest that we'll get to Tyson Fury on Fight Week. And I just wanted to take the temperature of the crew and ask if you think that is this accurate? Is this how I actually sound? Is this the way my voice sounds? Does my voice crack when I ask questions? What is going on? And so here it is, the great Tony Lapidus, who is a tremendous, tremendous talent, impersonating me interviewing Tyson Fury.
Only a few days before the Usyk-Fury reignited rematch, can you tell us what you're going to do, Tyson?
All I've got to do, Ariel, is get into that ring and knock the little doss of spark out in front of millions of people what are going to be watching it live on DAZN. By far the best place to watch me knock that little gappy-toothed, ugly little rabbit flat on his little middleweight back. Get up.
Tyson, with this fight being in Saudi Arabia, what's your message for people watching it far away back home?
What can I tell you? Get the beer out, put your feet up and get watching it live on DAZN, like I say. Listen, no home experience is going to be the same as watching it on DAZN, because I'll let you into a little secret. They've got world-class commentary, tip-top viewing experience. They've got best pre-fight coverage. What else have they got? They've got all the past pay-per-view content too, so not much more than you can ask for, really. It's fantastic. Enough said on that.
But what about those people who say, I can't watch that, I don't even have a DAZN subscription?
No, you don't need no subscription, you silly little sausage. That's the beauty of it. You buy the pay-per-view, and you get a 7-day free trial with DAZN. It's beautiful. It's a no-brainer. That's the beauty of it.
All right, Tyson, any final words for the fight fans?
No, only that. Now I'm about to set the record straight. With these two fists, I'm still a thug that you love to hate. Get up there, Tupac, my boy. No, but seriously, buy the pay-per-view on DAZN.com/boxing now, because you don't want to miss it. I promise you, it's going to be lights out and peace out, rabbit. Quite literally.
Do I really sound like that? I mean, come
there
on.
It was. That was it right there.
Does it really go that high?
Nailed both of those so well.
Come
It is when you're doing the question. It is always at the end of the
No,
question.
that's
inflection.
fucking bullshit. Frank, I appreciate that. That sounds like you don't endorse
Your voice
this.
cracks.
Yeah. Come on, man.
That was perfect.
I don't really
Be
sound
real with a real friend would tell you the truth. That's exactly what you sound like.
Are you the kind of person that you get like a caricature drawn of you and you get pissed off? 'Cause you're like,
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
You rip it up like you're a horrible.
Yeah, you're on
person.
the beach and you get the caricature and can't believe what it looks like.
I honestly thought we just cut to an interview.
Wow. Friends like these.
He's great.
Tyson
though.
one is great.
He's
The-
really good.
The Tyson
Spot
is
on.
just like
The
elite,
face.
elite.
The face is unbelievable.
Even the posture.
Yes.
Yeah, the
yes.
snort. But even just the way he's like sitting, like it's very Tyson. It's impressive. It's truly impressive.
Well, on today's episode or tonight's episode of Ariel and Ade, we will have an interview with Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk. Ade sat down with the two of them in Riyadh. He's there face to face with them. Apparently, that's the closest I'm getting to Tyson Fury this week. So,
Not upset about that at all.
Commiserations to me. Gentlemen, speaking of phone calls, what about this video here where Big Turk himself, Turkey Al-Sheikh, is FaceTiming both Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk at the same time? And people call me, I like to stir the pot. I mean, I feel like he's the one getting the goods now. Did you see this video? Take a look.
Hello, Tyson. You have His Excellency.
I mean, this
Hello,
is great.
brother. Hello, how are you? How are you? Very well, thank you.
Why? What is this shape?
The shave? I'm growing my beard to look like you.
Baba Noel.
Papa Noel.
Yeah.
You are ready.
Ready.
You are on me. One rabbit.
One rabbit coming up, cooked rabbit soon.
One rabbit in the kitchen.
One rabbit in the pot.
Yeah, there is space for him.
Yeah, no problem.
How is everything?
Very good. Training away hard. Just finishing off camp now.
3 or 4 days, and I will see you in Riyadh, inshallah.
Yes, inshallah.
But everything's fine.
Everything's good. Camp's going well. Very good.
And we can have Spencer against Jack Paul also.
Oh, there he is again.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Jake Paul.
Yeah.
I really love that beard.
We need to put Usyk in this.
Okay, so now he
in this
calls
phone
up
call.
Usyk at the same time.
We
This
need
is a
Usyk.
classic Helwani move.
To be sure.
This is old school MMA hour. Oh, there he is.
He didn't even
Hello,
ask the question.
freak!
He just put him on.
Hello.
Hello!
Look at this.
We're ready for you!
He's more fired up than both of these dudes.
We are ready for you. There is space in our kitchen for one rabbit more.
He's like full on saying, "I want you to lose."
Tyson.
See you in 21st December.
You're destroying my map.
No,
I want the
it's
third
not
fight.
possible.
I want trilogy. I want the third fight.
We'll
when
see.
I beat him on the 21st,
yeah,
there'll be a third fight, 100%.
Yeah.
There has to be a trilogy.
Yeah. How you
We'll
doing?
see.
How you doing?
I'm doing
He's
good.
like egging him on.
I'm very feel.
He's very feel.
Don't leave him alone.
Don't be afraid. I will not leave you alone.
I'm very
Okay.
afraid.
Please, Tyson.
Ugly little
Please,
man.
Tyson, finish the job. Finish this freak guy.
I'm gonna get that on because we need that trilogy back
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Saudi. Come on!
All right, well, you can see the rest of this on the
I
YouTube
will.
channel. This is just wild stuff, but it's tremendous promotion. PT loving it over there. What a
we broke PT.
Oh my god!
Oh, fucking hell.
How are you feeling, PT?
That was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
Oh my
The two
god!
lads. Oh my god. He was shit talking the two boys.
Well, he
They're
was
just
more
like,
shit talking Usyk. Really, he's saying like,
Oh yeah,
essentially-
it sounds like he fully wants Fury to win. I don't
Yes.
think he's being bashful about that.
There was no question about like, is it okay
His
if we get
allegiance.
Usyk on the phone?
Oh,
It
of
was
course
like,
it's okay.
Bust, get
See how
him
much
on
those guys
here.
are making.
And then it starts with "Hello, freak."
Beep. There it is.
Incredible.
The production value, man. The production value. Like even that thing, the way Usyk is lit, the way Tyson is, the way he's lit, the thing that we played yesterday from the Undisputed Netflix doc, the production value. And,
Right, like if you remember that one that we played yesterday, Turkey's like trying to get them to settle down, like, you know, we'll do this in the ring, don't get so upset. And then
Yeah.
here he is like poking them both to try to get them going.
I love it. I love it.
It's
what a time.
I'm
Yes,
way more
PT.
excited than I thought I would. Than I thought it would be for this fight. Like when it was announced, I was like, all right, cool. It's a rematch. Like we saw the first fight, thought it was pretty conclusive for Usyk that night. But everything in this fight week is just kind of it's got me really back on the buzz. Like, you know, last big fight of the year. The countdown on Netflix was really, really good, as you said. The production was unbelievable. The interview that Fury did with TalkSport, was it?
Yeah.
When he first revealed all this stuff, like he hadn't spoke to Paris in 3 months and stuff like that. He's either a master salesman or, you know, he's really taking this, like he's seeing this as potentially the last chapter of his career and he wants to go out on a high. I'm really dying for it now. And I didn't think I would be, but I'm absolutely buzzing now.
I think it's both, by the way. He is a master salesman, but I also think he does know. Like,
Do you believe he hasn't talked to his wife in any way, shape, or form in 3 months?
No.
I do, yeah.
He's always
actually
selling. I don't know what to believe with him,
no
but that's
text,
kind of
no nothing?
the beauty of it.
Nothing with the kids either.
Could be.
Wouldn't shock me.
I mean, his facial hair would suggest that he's been, and Adam Smith mentioned it. That's why I wanted to bring it up. He has a great relationship with him. He tried to visit his camp in Malta. He was told no multiple times. Couldn't even get him on the phone. So the idea that Tyson has now like locked himself away and is taking this seriously, because there is a bit of like a legacy component to this. You lose twice to Usyk. You're coming off that fight against Francis Ngannou, which wasn't a great showing. You know, it's like, all right, now back into the career, maybe it wasn't as great when he was at one point on this path of being considered one of the greats. And I don't think that necessarily changes, but you want to end on a high note, right?
If he wins this, I think he does a great deal of erasing the first fight. Like,
but I would say the last two fights. To me, the Francis fight is still out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know the boxing guys want to just ignore it like it was something that never happened. It's still a thing, and he did not look great in it, and he was close to losing, and he got dropped in it. But
AJ, regardless.
Oh.
Right? Like it does. Like if he loses AJ next summer, do it in London. Happy days.
It's
Have to
huge,
do it.
and no one will. Obviously, the stakes will be lower. I'm just wondering, and Turkey just mentioned the trilogy. If he wins, if he beats Usyk, is there a world where they try to do AJ versus Fury for the belts?
I don't think so. No.
You think they go trilogy?
For sure.
You've got to give Usyk another shot.
Yeah, I mean, also like the way they were both talking, like Tyson Fury was like, "When I win, 100%."
I agree from a meritocracy standpoint, but I just wonder if they try to do it.
I think Turkey also was like
Yeah.
trilogy. I want the trilogy.
Of course,
So
Aaron's
Tyson
going to try and do it. Like,
Yeah, I know that but Turkey's the one making the calls.
Of course, Eddie's getting
I know that the IBF title is elsewhere, but like the last time this happened
in May,
were for undisputed, the two best. Like, I don't think we can as quickly just move on from that story. You know, like if Tyson evens the score here, we have to see a third one, because that would really say like these guys are the two best. Again, I know that it is not undisputed anymore because boxing is crazy and silly with these belts, but you have to do it one more time, and then you can resolve any other.
And so if Usyk wins,
then you do AJ versus Fury.
AJ
no
Fury,
problem.
and
Easy,
then
done.
hopefully Usyk versus the winner of
That's
Dubois, Joseph Parker.
Yeah,
easy. It sorts itself
Usyk
out at
versus
that point.
Parker is
Usyk versus Parker is great. Usyk versus Usyk versus Dubois rematch.
Yeah.
They had the fight in August of 23. Controversial.
Controversial,
ending.
yeah, that was sick. I love that.
Ah man,
one of my mates was walking his dog earlier today. Saw Andy Lee, like, in the park. He knows
Really?
Andy. Says, "How's it going, Andy?"
Oh, this is
like, what's the story, man?
Yeah.
Do you want to come and watch Joseph Parker training? He's like, all right. Went down to the gym and watched him train. Has a picture up now with him and Joseph Parker after the training session. What a random thing to happen to you on a Tuesday.
First of all, Andy Lee, salt of the earth gent, enjoyed my time with him very much every time I've seen him in person. But here's I thought you were going to go down this road. Andy Lee, obviously head trainer for Joseph Parker, and he's on the DAZN broadcast. And so I was asking Ade, to be honest, I was like, wait a second, Andy Lee has worked with Tyson. What's going on? And so maybe they've had to decide, like, all right, I'm going to stick with Joseph, because for the longest time, Joseph Parker and Tyson were training partners and friends. And only recently has Joseph said, like, no, I will fight him if I have to. He's not seeking the fight, but and so it sounds like they have all linked up. Oh, by the way, we talked about this on the DAZN show last week. George Lockhart has transformed Joseph Parker, and George was with Tyson for years, living with him. And so there's a lot of stuff there. And who knows if we ever get to that point. A lot has to happen, right? Because I guess maybe if Fury loses and Parker loses and then they don't do the AJ fight, but heavyweight boxing. And who would have thought in the year 2024/2025, it would be easier to make some of these big boxing fights than the biggest MMA fights, because we wanted Francis versus Jones, didn't get it, and we want Jones versus Aspinall, and there's no clear path. Like, obviously, they're all in the UFC, but are we 1,000% certain? Are we
100%? We know we're 100%, Ariel. That's what Dana said.
Okay, you're right. Sorry, you said 100%. Which are you more confident in happening? If Fury loses, Fury AJ in 2025 or Jones Aspinall in 2025?
Oh.
Jones Aspinall.
Wait, no, for real?
I would say Fury AJ
for sure.
I would say Fury AJ because of one man, and he'll make it happen, and there'll be nowhere else for them to go. Jones could easily just say, no, I don't want to, or give me Pereira, or I've done enough and I don't want to give this guy the opportunity. He's an asshole. And it just doesn't happen the same way the Francis fight didn't happen.
The money, here's the thing. Just like every single time this comes up, the money has to be there for Jones versus Aspinall to happen, and I'm not sure it will be. The money will definitely be there for AJ versus Fury. There's no doubt in my mind that the money will be there. If Fury loses, AJ and Fury, the money will come in for that fight to be made, and it will be massive, and it will be absolutely massive. There's no doubt. That's the one for sure.
But it's nearly like the Tony Ferguson v Habib Nurmagomedov of boxing at this stage.
Oh,
like, it feels
stop!
Like these guys have been just going around in circles for over a decade.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant like okay. No,
you know what I mean. And then every time it feels like, oh, this is going to set it up perfectly. Someone loses.
I know what you mean. Pete.
That's a fair point.
That's what I'm saying.
I think it would happen. Jones. I think it would happen if Tyson loses.
Last one before we go, guys. Speaking of heavyweight MMA.
Wait, let me just say one more thing.
Yeah.
Somebody tweeted me. Ronaldo Maradin. He said, the Ambanis through the IPL, the Indian Premier League, the cricket league, do business with Disney through Star. Star is like the international Disney Plus. So ESPN could be a partner. So I don't know, man.
Yeah,
might be a broadcast thing set up there. It might all happen with this.
There's a lot of connective tissue, as they say. All right. Well, thank you for that. And I wanted to bring up, speaking of heavyweight MMA, what about Stipe Miocic, living his best life in retirement, showing up recently at the Browns game? Look at this guy. Look at Stipe.
What a legend.
Yo, it's got to be like 30 degrees Fahrenheit. below zero, Pizzi, smashing the guitar. Hey, look at him. Yeah.
You think he goes rest of the game, no shirt?
Hell yeah. That's
This
more
is purest form. Right
That's
there.
more emotion out of Stipe than we've seen in quite some time.
All for the 3-11 Browns.
All business as well. Look at him. He just walks up there.
GC.
Smashes the guitar, and then he's gone.
He knew the assignment.
I've been staying to watch. Just
What a guy. Shout out to Stipe. All right, super chats. What do we got?
Yeah, we got some people who joined new tier. So shout out to Shooter McGavin, who became a Helwani.
Does he eat pieces of shit like me
I
for
think
breakfast?
he does. Yeah,
All
I
right.
believe he does. Confirmed. Nathan McGee, welcome to Helwani as well.
Yeah.
Then we had our boy Jason Carney, who gifted 5 memberships. Shout out to Jason, legend. Justin Ban joined the Helwanis. And then lastly, our boy Rick G, the talented musical artist Rick G, who's been a member for a month, by the way. Shout out Rick G. Said Paul versus McGregor with Mayweather as ref. So that's the angle.
Oh, God.
He's saying. Let,
Oh, this is not
Mayweather-
WWE.
May as well at this stage. You know what I mean?
What are we doing?
May
Special
as well.
guest referees? Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much to them. And we appreciate you all very much. Want to let you know, ArielHelwani.substack.com is where you can send questions for tomorrow's On the Nose. We'll be answering a litany of those. That will be my last show before. No, there's really no break because we got the show on Monday. Anyway, I'll explain more about the holiday schedule coming up afterwards, after all of that. At the end of Wednesday's show, Paul Hughes, big news, Pete, joining us in studio tomorrow. Anything you want to say to Paul? I know it's hard for you to get in touch with him. Any messages you want me to send him?
Just 25 unanswered texts a bit much. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just remember we got you to the dance kit.
Yeah, that's
You know what I
right.
mean?
Don't forget to send the elevator back down, you know? Come
When he
on,
does
Paul.
things left.
We did find out, though, via Damon Martin, that the Corey Anderson-Vadim Nemkov fight is now off. So that fight has taken, that has become the, what was it one? It was Jamal Hill versus, who was it? It was Jamal Hill.
We did this on Boys in the Back, but I forgot it already.
It was Jamal Hill versus Khalil Roundtree.
Yes.
And then Jamal pulled out. And
yes.
it was-
And then it became
Alberg.
Carlos Alberg. And then Alberg pulled out.
And
And then it became.
It devolved from
At some
Jamal
point,
Hill,
Smith,
Khalil
yes.
Roundtree to Anthony Smith
Roman
versus
Dolidze.
Roman Dolidze.
Yes.
Wow.
And that is what's happening here on this Dubai Champion Series card. So let's see. We'll be back in 90 minutes on the DAZN Boxing YouTube channel. Do check it out. Do support. There's a lot of numbskulls over there. So if you guys want to show some love, that would be nice. No, they're all very nice. I'm kidding. And so check that out. Ade will be joining us in Riyadh.
Is that the universal symbol for Riyadh?
Yeah, the gun show. Frank, how you feeling? Everything good? I feel like we didn't hear much from you today.
I think we heard too much.
Oh.
We heard too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm feeling great. Thanks.
No.
Thanks for the Motrin earlier.
Oh, how you feeling? Yeah. How's your head?
Yeah, it's all better.
All better? Are you guys
Pain in
excited?
me Gulliver? That's gone. Yeah.
Interesting. You excited for the NBA Cup Finals tonight?
Yeah, the stakes have never been higher.
Thank you.
I can tell we've heard that one back here.
Well done steaks.
Yeah. I did hear that you guys shot a fight feast last night.
Oh, it was the best.
When does that premiere?
Thursday, Boys in the Back.
Boys in the Back. It's Ukrainian food.
Yeah, Ukrainian food for Oleksandr Usyk.
What's like the signature dish?
Like pierogies.
So I was gonna say pierogi, but
Cabbage.
isn't that Polish?
Borscht.
So it's a Ukrainian version of it. The name is Vereneki.
Golly, was there any rabbit involved?
No. Walked out.
Did you see that picture of Hamza with the rabbits?
Yeah, the guns in the trunk.
What's up with that?
I don't know, man. It looks like my Instagram feed every Saturday morning in the fall. All my friends from the south.
They shoot rabbits?
Rabbits, geese.
Not
duck.
cool.
Yeah.
Not very nice. They're so innocent.
Deer.
Anyway, thank you very much to all our guests. Fun show. Thank you, Adam Smith, Aljamain Sterling, Sean Brady. Thanks to you. Thanks to them. Back on Wednesday, same time and place. Peace. I'm out of here.